Where'd the game go? Oh, there it is. I was about to say, where did my game go? I need to turn the game to full screen, if I can. Nice, perfect. Oh god, now I have to switch it. Hold on. Hold on. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Y'all didn't see that. Oh my god, listen. The game was perfectly in the right spot, and then I went to I went to full screen, and then it was like boosh. I think there we go. Oh wait, let me. No, I think it's good actually. Are you in the box? Okay, cool. Asumi, hi. Hi Diego. Welcome to the stream. Asumi hype? Yeah, Asumi's gonna be streaming soon. Hi, Diego! I just did that, but hi! Welcome to the stream! Hi, nerd! Welcome back! How you doing? Alright, so we're gonna be continuing, Higurashi arc slash chapter 6. So we only did the first chapter of this last time, so really there's not much going on yet, except for that scene at the beginning with, Thank you, Asmi. Thank you, Asmi. I needed that in my life. Thank you. Thanks so much. No worries if you're new. I've been playing this game for a long time, so, that's understandable, Asmi. It's understandable. It's understandable. I myself want to hear it quite often. I am gonna say, though, that the game I've been playing for a long time, and I'm 35 parts in, so, if you're new, you're gonna get some spoilers. So, but if you don't care, then we're gonna have a good time, you know? But yes, we only did the first chapter last stream I did, so there's really not much going on yet, except for there was that whole scene with, Rena at the beginning, where she was talking about, you know, like, explaining all of her sins, which, don't really know what that's about yet, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna hunt for some answers. Also, we actually don't even have any challenges right now because you all had finished the chill karaoke stream last time, which I will be doing sometime next week, hopefully. So yeah, just redeem whatever you want and have a good time. We're gonna be starting with chapter 2. I awoke from my dream, still feeling excited. I must have had a very happy dream. She put the wrong bins out or something. I already forgot what it was about. I felt as if there was a switch that automatically made me forget my dreams when I opened my eyes. All I can remember is that it was a happy dream. For reference, this is a visual novel game, if you can't tell already. So it's a lot of me reading things. But, it is a murder mystery? Murder mystery? I mean, there is a lot of murder, right? I don't know. It's a dark mystery story based on this very, like, religious, cultish, kind of backwards town. So, yeah, you got these main cast of characters who are all, like, you know, relatively normal, so to speak, like teenagers. And then everything seems fine and everything's cool, and then all of a sudden somebody dies or something suspicious goes on and it gets real dark and you're like, what is going on? That's Higurashi. That's basically the game. You'll figure it out as we go. It's gonna look like it's so totally normal for a while, and then eventually it's gonna get to that point where we just can't go back. The darkness invades and we can't get back. There's a lot of suspiciousness going on, yes, all the time. I look at the ceiling and enjoy the happy feeling for a while. It was Sunday today. Outside the window I could hear a morning bird song that sounded totally different from what I heard on weekdays. The morning bird song on weekdays sounds like they're in a rush, as if they're telling me to hurry to school. But on Sunday, it's different. I can tell that the birds are singing simply because they want to tell everybody how great a morning it is. I even felt like the birds that sing on weekdays must be different birds from the ones that sing on Sunday. I wonder if there really are birds that only sing on Sunday. Sounds like a very luxurious job for some reason. It's a waste to listen to such a valuable bird song when you're not quite awake. As I fully awaken, my normal, crude personality takes over, and I start feeling stupid to even think there might be birds that sing only on Sunday. Keiichi, you're gonna make me tired. Stop it. As I yawned and stretched, my blood started circulating through my entire body. It felt good. I turn over and look at the clock, which says it's past 10 a.m. Also, it's been a hot minute. I'm gonna mention this again. It's been a hot minute since we've played as Keiichi, which is weird. I don't know how to go back. I don't know what to do now. I used to go to my cram school on Sunday at 10 a.m. Oh, thank you, Diego. That's nice of you. Yeah, the model art was made by my model mama, Hanara, and the rig was done by Maria, which both of those you can find in my credits panels, I think. I think I have them down there. That was before I moved to Hinamizawa. My parents made me go to several cram schools back then. I remember that the one I had to go to on the first and the third Sundays of the month was the hardest one of all because I had to change trains several times to get there. I was never allowed to sleep in so late back then. My mom always woke me up early so that I didn't miss my classes. It's probably why I've always dreamed of being able to wake up whenever I wanted on a Sunday. Needless to say, I don't feel that way anymore now that I moved to Hinamizawa. After all, I can always sleep till noon on Sunday now. My life has changed completely since I moved here. Before, I used to think living in the countryside would be really inconvenient. To be honest, I wasn't even interested in living here. But it was only the first few days that I felt that way. Now I don't feel attached to the life in the city or its conveniences. When I think about what part of my life in Hinamizawa I'm the most attached to, I'd have to say it's probably my friends. That's a real Keiichi answer. Alright, I'm gonna give you a howl. Ow! Guess the reason why I'm being so sentimental is probably because I had so much fun yesterday in the water gun fight with all my classmates. That's all you missed was a water gun fight, in case you all missed stream last time. Really. Despite my age, I got so into it and had so much fun. I bet the kids in the city wouldn't be able to play like that. No, I should say they wouldn't even want to in the first place. They wouldn't even realize how exciting a simple water gun fight could be. I went downstairs and saw my parents watching a serious TV program, arguing about the topic together.
だいたい日本の電話料金は高すぎるんだ。国が電話事業を独占してるからこういうことになるんだ。
でも民間企業ってのは営利団体なのよ。慈善団体なわけじゃないんだし、全国一律のサービスを本当に維持できるわけ？
Why would you watch something this serious that you're just gonna argue over? It's like arguing about politics. Why? Why? Why would you even bring up politics if you're just gonna argue about it? The experts on TV were arguing about the same thing. Seems like there's a possibility the telephone service will get privatized. I'm too young to understand how privatization could make things better. But I can easily assume that people will start talking about privatizing the postal services in the near future too. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? My parents were arguing about the topic fiercely, but they got along very well. Let's put it this way. They get along well, and that's why they argue. I don't remember seeing them get along this well when we were living in the city. This is probably one of the things that got better since we moved to Hinamizawa. A cold relationship between parents doesn't bring any benefits to their kids. It's interesting. I don't think, like, parents should argue, but I think it's a normal thing that happens. Like, people are always gonna have, you know, differences of opinion, and arguments just kind of happen very, very easily. Selling publicly owned stuff to private companies, so rather than being run by government, being run for profit instead. Huh. Okay, I don't know if that would be... Yeah. I guess that's better, because I hate that the government's in control of everything these days.
朝ごはん食べる？
今日はいらない。あと今日は外で食べるから昼飯もいらないや。
なんだ、友達と一緒か。圭一がよく話す部活というやつか？
いや、 今日は部活じゃない。
Are we really free? That's a good question.
昨日の罰ゲームというか、なんというか。
Someone rang the doorbell. I looked at the clock and noticed it's time to meet Rena. I guess I spent too much time enjoying waking up late. I ran upstairs to get a change of clothes. There she is. I quickly changed and ran to the front door. Rena was chatting with my parents. Excuse me. I also think it's interesting that this story is not told from Rena's perspective, but Keiichi. You know, even though it's the same, it's like reiterating the first arc, isn't it? So, but Keiichi didn't know what was going on then, so why is it still being told by Keiichi's point of view? Unless I'm wrong, and it's a different arc and I missed something. I quickly changed and ran to the front door. Rena was chatting with my parents. I always feel uncomfortable when my parents talk to my friends. I'm afraid they'll say something embarrassing about me. I just don't care anymore. Like, say what you want. I don't care anymore. They told Rena that I wet my bed till I was 10 years old or something. She wouldn't wait till Monday to tell everybody in my school, or maybe even everybody in Hinamizawa.
Yo, Rena. Ohayo. 待たせて悪い悪い。
And then my parents looked at me and laughed. I said good morning and they laughed. I guess I was too late. My parents must have already told Rena some embarrassing secrets about me. I don't want my parents to hear it. I don't want my parents to tell her anything else, so I put on my shoes in a rush and pushed Rena out of the house. My parents waved at us, smiling. Itterashai!
Rena-chan, Keiichiをよろしくお願いね。
How?
Hi, おばさま。
She's so cute.
ケイチ君はレナがちゃんと
Until she gets a knife.
何の面倒だか知らんが、見んでいい。
Actually, it was an axe, wasn't it? I forgot. I think it's an axe. Oh. What was that sound? I think it's my cat. I think she's having some tummy issues. Poor baby. I dragged Rena away from the house and we were on our way. We rode our bicycles to the town of Okinomiya. It's a long way away. It's an easy ride to the town because it's mostly downhill, but needless to say it's a hard ride on the way back. I felt like Rena was giggling whenever she looked at me. I badly wanted to know what kind of embarrassing information my parents had fed her before I came downstairs. I tried to give her a new subject to talk about in order to get whatever she heard from my parents out of her mind.
レナって何気にうちの親と仲いいよな。
仲いいよ。よくお話しするもん。
よくお話っていつしてるよ。俺は見かけたことないぞ。
おばさまとはよくお買い物の時に会うかな。特売日とかポイントセールの日なんかはよく会うね。
ああ、確かにおふくろは特売日とかまめにチェックしてるな。冷蔵庫のとこに磁石でいろいろとメモが貼ってあってさ、どこそこで何がいつ安いなんてのが書いてあるのを見かけるよ。
それでね、今夜は何に
I don't
し
have
ま
the
しょう
time
ね
for that.
って話をしながら一緒に買い物するの。カレールーが特売だから今夜はカレーにしようかななんて話になると、じゃあうちもなんて感じで。
そういえば一昨日はカレーだったな。じゃあレナのとこもカレーだったわけか？
おとといはポークカレーだったでしょ。
Ooh.
豚肉が安かったから一緒に買ったの。だからね、私の家でもカレーを食べながら、今頃ケイチ君も同じカレーを
That
食べ
sounds
てるん
good.
だ
I've
ろう
only
なって
ever
思
had
ってた。
chicken curry. And I've made it myself.
は
How? So she knows what I'm eating for dinner almost every day. It didn't bother me, but I did kind of feel embarrassed. That's actually kind of creepy that she knows so much.
おじさまとはお買い物の時に一緒に会うことが多いかな。ケイチ君のおじさまとおばさま、本当に仲良しなんだね。
そういえばよく一緒に買い物に行くな。
I don't remember this conversation.
確かに いい年
I
して
guess it's because it's
仲はい
been
い
so
方だと
long.
思う
It's probably been like over a year since I've seen this first arc, so.
やっぱり両親の仲がいいのはとても大事なことだと思うよ。お買い物にも一緒だなんてなんだか素敵で羨ましいな。
なんだかさっきから俺の親の話ばかりで恥ずかしいぞ。レナのとこはどうだよ、仲いいか？
仲いいよ。いつもべったりしてる。だからね、レナに居場所がない。
Her parents are a lovey-dovey couple, huh? I've never met Rena's mother, but I imagine she's just like Rena. I could easily imagine her mother going crazy about the spot her husband missed when shaving because it looks so cute to her, like sesame seeds on white rice. She must love to touch her husband's chubby stomach because it feels so soft. It was funny how easily I could imagine her mother doing these things. That sounds like Rena.
突然笑い出すなんて何かな。
レナの家のおばさんがどんな人か、もう俺も今度レナのおばさんに会ってみることにするぜ。
ダメだよ。ダメ。
レナだって俺のおふくろと話をしてるじゃないかよ。ならおあいこだろ。
だって圭一君なんかがあってもいいことないよ。全然立派な人じゃないし。
会う前からかなり予想はついてるんだけどね。ズバリレナにそっくりだろ。
そんなことない。全然似てないよ。
その過剰な反応が雄弁に答えを物語ってるぞ。とにかくレナのおばさんに興味が出たぜ。今度ご挨拶に伺うからな。覚悟してやがれ。
そんなのダメ。圭一君がレナの家に来たらレナ怒るよ。すごい怒る。
She'll be mad at you.
普段お宅のお嬢さんに大変お世話になっております。いや、お嬢さんと真剣なお付き合いをさせてもらってるものです。くらいの方が面白いかもしれないな。
Keiichi, don't do that.
もしうちに来たらみーちゃんたちに圭一君のちっちゃい頃の話をしちゃおうかな。
ちっちゃい頃とは具体的にはいくつの頃のエピソードだ？
レナがおばさまに聞いたのは4つの時の話と6つの時の滑り台の話とあと
Why is the screen bouncing at that?
すみませんでした、レナさん。レナさんの目の黒いうちは竜宮家の半径100メートルには絶対近寄らないようにするっす。
Yeah, I think Rena's voice actor is like super cute.
ありがとう。
Keiichi has taken damage. Hi, Cordy! Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the huggies. How you doing? I'm doing okay. Damn it, Mom. I'll remember this. We arrived at the station. The place we were going today is right near there. It's a restaurant called Angel Mart. We were meeting up with the others there. You're making a taco? I want a taco. I was surprised when I saw the restaurant. It's usually a normal and quiet restaurant, but today there were many people in front of it. Yeah. Yeah, she has a good mix of voice cues. You're gonna share your tacos with me? Thanks! That's so nice of you, Cordy. They didn't look like they were waiting in line to get inside. It looked more like they were just loitering around. They should just line up and go inside like normal people.
うわー、なんだよこれ。すっげえ人だな。
今日はイベントデーだからね。この日のためにすっごい遠くから来てる人たちも大勢いるんだって。
Oh, is it the free dessert thing? There's a flag saying Dessert Festa in front of the restaurant. I heard that Angel Mart holds events like this several times a year and a lot of people come to attend from all over.
今日のデザートフェスタはね、抽選に当たってチケットがもらえた人しか入店できないの。でね、1枚のチケットで4人まで入場できることになっててね。
なるほどな。 チケット持ってる友人が来るのをこうして店の前で待ってるわけか。
ちょっと違うかな。チケットの人にはね、たまに4人未満で来る人もいるの。
つまりなんだ、落選者たちがチケット当選者のおこぼれに預かろうとこうして群がってるってわけなのか。
Okay, Asumi, have a good stream. At that time, the crowd of people roared in excitement. What was going on?
こいつチケット持っているでござるよ。チケットは4人まで入れるのに1人で入ろうなんておこがましいにゃりん。残り3人の枠にぜひ加えてくださいにゃ。
僕を仲間に加えてくれたらエンジェルモートトレカのレアカードを申請するよ。
おいらならフロントフィールドの夏コミ新刊を限定本付きで。
日暮らしベータ版世界モード搭載版で譲って。
Beta version of Higurashi.
G 氏の魔改造フィギュアでなんとか。俺はこのお米券でどうだ。
Really?
この愚か者。
よくわからん騒ぎになっとるぞ。
That's a lot of money.
このお店のコアなファンはちょっと怖いからね。
ところで俺たちのチケットってのは第一、俺たちメンバーって5人組だろ。チケットの定員じゃ。
ほら、このお店みーちゃんの親類のお店だからね。
ミオンって時々すげえよな。
Rena makes a fist and gets all fired up.
じゃあ行こう。一気に駆け抜けるからね。
それが最良の策みたいだな。よし。
We nodded at each other. Since we were a group of two at present, it looked like we had 2 more seats to share. These people might try mobbing us in order to get a share. We crouched down, getting ready to run. A crowd of people seemed to notice us.
あの二人強行突破を試みるつもりにゃりん。しかも女子と二人きりでボックスシートを埋めようとは不届き千番。一緒に座ってラブラブな空気を打ち砕いてやるでござる。
最後の一発まで抵抗しろ。ゲルマンの鉄の意志を見せてやるのだ。
Damn, they were going to tackle us. They'd do whatever it took to stop us from getting inside the restaurant.
今日はみーちゃんたちみんなの罰ゲームの日。私たちがお店に入れなかったら昨日の勝利が無意味になっちゃう。
それだけは認められねえな。俺たちがベストを尽くして得た勝利だ。だからミオンたちの罰ゲームを見届けるのは権利である。
義務でもあるもんね。
とかっこよく決めたところで下心丸出しなんだけどな。
はあ、さとこちゃんやりかちゃんどんな格好かな。
Of course, that's what that's what Rena wants, is to see Rika and Satoko.
お持ち帰り。
ヤングカップルめ、おとなしくチケットを差し出すでござるよ。ここは通さねえぜ。
エンジェルモートのイベントチケットを2人だけで消化
I
しよ
love
う
how
な
they
どと
care
は
so
許
much.
せんやりん。余った枠に我らを加えるでござるよ。
They reached their hands toward us like zombies. They gradually got closer and closer. We were actually taking it easy, though. Back us to the situation was rather enjoyable.
なんだか昨日の部活がまだ続いてるみたいだね。
ああ、なんだか面白くなってきたぜ。連中を蹴散らして一気に行くぜ。
了解。みーちゃんやさとこちゃんを相手に回すよりは簡単かな。
だな。他の部活メンバーを敵に回すのに比べたら見たとこ2、30人ってとこか。悪いが俺たちを止めるには人数がちょいと足りないぜ。
よーし、じゃあ行くよ。
おう。
Our enemies number about 20 to 30. If they wanted to stop us, they should have gotten 10 times more people than that. I'm not gonna try to do that battle cry.
いらっしゃいませ。本日はイベントデーになりますが、チケットはお持ちですか？
チケットはないですけど、名乗ればいいと言われてます。竜宮レナと前原圭一です。
ただいまリストを確認しております。少々お待ちください。
Seems like many fans of this restaurant aren't normal people. I bet they try to get in with lies or fake tickets. No wonder this waitress makes sure to check the list.
いやしかし恐ろしい連中だった。あんなのがひしめいていたら健全な客は店内までたどり着けないぞ。
そうかもだね。でもレナの行く手を阻むことは誰にもできないんだよ。はう。
それはそうと相変わらずのキレだったな。
No one can beat Rena
あれは肘か
when she's in
膝か
cute mode.
顔面の急所を正確にぶち抜くとは恐ろしいやつ。
The way Rena swept them off their feet with super fast invisible jabs was incredible. It even gave me a chill just thinking about it.
だってレナのお持ち帰りを邪魔するんだもん。きっとみんなかいいよ。みんなお持ち帰り。
怪異モードのレナが相手じゃな。まあ連中もあれだけ派手にぶちのめされれば敗北を受け入れられるだろう。
圭一くんだってすごかったよ。大勢に囲まれて飲み込まれたと思ったら急にシーンとなって、その後みんな涙を流しながら道を開けてた。なんでかな。
いや別に落選したお前たちの代わりにこの俺が入店してやる。お前たちの分まで俺が見届けてきてやる。だからどうし諸君、今は涙を流しても次の抽選の勝者になれと。まあそのあたりのことを少々語ったらみんな理解してくれたよ。
圭一くんってアジテーション得意だよね。聞いている人を共感させる能力というか、我が部の口先の魔術師って感じ。
その口先の魔術師ってもう他の通り名はないのかよ。
どうだろうね。考えてみるね。
Magician of words sounds cool to me. That's kind of what I am, but I'm a witch. Rena laughs loudly.
大変お待たせしました。リストにお名前を確認しました。
Yeah, complete nonsense is all it is. You right.
お席へご案内します。どうぞこちらへ。
The waitress led us to our seats. The restaurant was completely packed today. It made for a cheerful but sort of crazy atmosphere. All the customers in the restaurant were very unique people, just like the ones loitering around outside. You had an entertaining day? Well, that's good, I suppose. Mine was kind of boring. I was off work today, so I just stayed home and I tried to write, but got very distracted, and you know, it happens. There was an aura of excitement in the store, and it also smelled a bit sweaty. Blech. They were also talking excitedly about special terms that I don't understand, again, just like the people outside.
やはりエンジェルモートは制服命
Oh,
だ
I do remember this conversation, yes.
食は舌で味わうものでござるが、エンジェルモートは目で味わうのでござるよ。
These perverted assholes.
今日は大運の上女の子のローテのチェッカー基本ツンデレ好きならカー木の17時以降逆属性の方は17時以降が勝負。
I regret coming here today. And at the same time, I was really glad that I didn't lose the game yesterday. This punishment might be a bit easier for the girls, but as a guy, if I had to go this punishment today, I would have been kicked and punched by these crazy customers because they would have been burning with anger. Let me explain. I didn't come here just to eat lunch with Rena today. The punishment is as follows. The losers have to wear a costume that was randomly chosen and help with the event at Angel Mort as a waitress. The winners could enjoy eating desserts, receiving service from the losers. When this punishment was announced, I'd actually prepared myself for the punishment because I thought I'd lose the game like always. I was losing a lot recently, so I didn't think I could win. I assume Rena felt the same way. Who can imagine Rena and I would also do so well as to win? Why is he pumping himself up? You're great, Keiichi Maebara. You made me proud. Everybody started shouting, clapping their hands, and whistling for joy. I don't blame them. They came just for the event at Natal Mort. None of them expected to see the waitresses wearing different costumes like this.
Me.
Oh, she's so cute.
Rika-chan! How much kairi?
まあ待て、落ち着けレナ。ここでお持ち帰ったら罰ゲームにならん。
Rika-chan appears with glasses of water and wet napkins on a tray. They drew lots to decide on the costumes. Rika-chan's costume is the uniform of Angel Mort, which we use regularly for punishments.
いらっしゃいませ。エンジェルモートへようこそなのですよ。
Rika-chan put the glasses of water and the wet napkins in front of Rena and me. Rena raised her weird voice and everybody in the store followed suit. Everybody started shouting the phrase. Before I knew it, they were surrounding our table trying to burn the scene of Rika-chan serving customers into their minds. Oh my goodness. She's so cute. But I feel like that's not a good thing for someone so young to wear. It's gonna send the wrong message.
みー、ジロジロ見られると恥ずかしいのです。
そういえばおなじみのエンジェルモート制服だが、どことなく違う気がするのは気のせいか？
それはですね、前原さん、僕が説明いたします。
Tomita-kun, our underclassman, pushed his way through the crowd.
ああ、富田くんじゃないか。
I mean, yeah, they kind of are. You're not wrong.
なんだ、岡村くんも。二人とも当選してたのか。
そんなことはどうでもいいです、前原さん。それよりもここでフルデさんの衣装について説明しましょう。ご存知の通り、エンジェルモートの制服は成熟した女性の魅力を前面に押し出すことを最大の目的とした衣装です。
She's not exactly a mature woman. What do you mean?
着衣には多少の成熟した年齢相応のプロポーションが必要とされます。その意味においては未発達な体型であるフルデさんとは最も相性の悪い制服と言えるでしょう。
それだけでなく問題となったのはフルデさんの体型に合うサイズを店舗側が用意できなかったことにあります。そのためフルデさんはエンジェルモートの制服を着るという罰ゲームを実行するためには工夫をせざるを得なかったのです。そこでフルデさんはプール用の水着で衣装を代用したのですが、それによりカミオも予見できなかったであろう水着とエンジェルモート衣装というありえない組み合わせが生まれたのです。この武装により現在のフルデさんの攻撃力は従来火力をはるかに凌駕。属性付与、状態異常の追加、クリティカル発生率の大幅アップ、しかも上昇中には無敵時間まで与えられるに至ったのです。この素晴らしさがわかりますか？わかりますよね。つまりこれを竜宮さん風に言うとこうです。お持ち帰り。
ダメだよ、ダメダメ。お持ち帰るのはレナなんだよ。
You don't mess with Rena, man.
もう気持ちはわかるよ。お持ち帰り。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun held Rena's shoulders, and they shouted the phrase in their excitement. Phrase had spread throughout the entire store and was now out of control. Oh no. Anyway, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun surprise me sometimes. For their age, they're so good at giving passionate speeches. They'll probably make it big in the future. Keiichi influences them way too much. He's such a bad influence. At that time, the crowd set up another roar. I hear Mion telling them to let her through. I don't remember what kind of costume she picked. Who's this?
亀田くんかよ。そっか、デザート魔人の君がデザートフェスタにいないわけないよな。いや、元気？
元気かどうかなんて、それよりあれはどうなってるんすか。
Kameda-kun was in a state of great excitement. Thick veins were displaying on his forehead. The source of that excitement appears throughout the crowd.
こうなりゃやけだね。毎度どうも。ウルトラレアチーズケーキお待たせしました。
Why is she wearing it? Why are they all wearing school swimsuits with random costume effects on them? Mion appeared with a cake on a tray. Oh, now I remember what she picked for her costume.
みーちゃんもかわいいよ。
ああ、もうとんでもない災難だよ。この格好はケイちゃんにやらせるつもりだったのにな。
But that didn't happen till like arc 3, wasn't it?
前原さん、この格好も並々ならぬものがあります。しかも普段の部活では上昇無敗、完璧鉄壁猛満隊の委員長の普段の姿を知れば知るほどに8枚深さ 500% だと思います。しかし天下無敵の委員長ですら逃れることが叶わないとは、恐るべきは部活です。
そういうことっすか。ケイ2人で同じ器の巨大パフェを付き合った仲じゃないっすか。それなのに俺に内緒でそんな素敵な部活をしてたなんて納得いかないっす。こんな部活の存在知ってたら野球なんかやらなかったのに。俺の人生のリセットボタンはどう？
Where is the reset button for my life? I too wanna know. Oh my god, stop it.
なんという部活でござるか。
I hate these perverted assholes.
こんな夢のような部活は聞いたことないにゃり。
みんなダメだよ。部活はひなみ沢に住んでる人しか入れないんだよ。
なんとこれは住民票をひなみ沢に移すっきゃな。
Stop there, Rena. Population of Hinamizawa might double by tomorrow.
しかし素晴らしい罰ゲームっすよ、ケイ。
Okay, it looks much better in the model form, but still, like she. Oh, it's a gym. It's a gym. Okay, it's a gym uniform, but with the school uniform top and a kitty bell. Why? Why are you mixing so many things together?
女性を美しくする衣装は例えるならデザートのデコレーションと同じダンス。ショートケーキだって全て剥いてしまえば単なるスポンジケーキに過ぎないんです。それをクリームで飾り、十重旗への美しい装飾が奏でる素晴らしき魅
Yeah,
惑の
I
ハーモニ
remember
ー
this guy now.
目で楽しみ、舌で味
I
わう。
remember this guy now.
しかるにこのセーラー服とブルマの組み合わせは素晴らしい。
I don't know. That,
本来ならどちらも日常的な学校衣装であり、それはそれで味わいがあるのですが、それはそれで置いといて。
to me, it just feels like you're trying to combine two completely opposite things that just don't work.
制服と体操服という近いカテゴリーにありながら交わることのなかったこれら衣装。そう、デザートに例えるならまさにいちご大福。誰もが絶対に合わないと思った組み合わせが誰もがの未体験の未知なる味わいを持たせるに至ったのです。
ケイちゃんってケイって呼ばれてるの？
Oh, she has a cat tail too. I just noticed that.
この暴走特急と仲良かったんだ。
全力で無関係を装わせてください。
とわーなんだ
Oh god. He's gonna see Satoko. Oh, oh no. Oh no! Oh no! A guy tumbled in and landed on his feet elegantly. It was Coach.
許しません。許しませんよ、前原さん。
Coach glared at me in anger. He was breathing hard with a scary expression on his face.
許さないって何が許さ
Oh
ないんですか
no.
あれですよ。
Okay, she looks cute. At the moment of his scream, 3 different metal buckets fell on his head one after the other, and a Chinese walk finished the job.
まあこの格好が罰ゲームになった時点で多少は心の準備がありましたのよ。さとこのメイドさんはある意味命に関わりますです。はう、さとこちゃんのメイドさんかわいいよ。
Aw, thanks.
お持ち帰り。
それはさせません。お持ち帰るのはこの私、入江京介です。
ダメだよ、ダメダメダメ。レナのお持ち帰りを邪魔するとハウハウハウハウ。
Once Rena goes into cute mode, she becomes merciless. If a rock tried to sabotage her chance to take her favorites home with her, she'd break it into pieces. If it was a river, she'd fill it up with sand. If it was the sea, she'd split it in half like Moses did and walk through it. What? Coach got up on his feet like a zombie. I couldn't believe he could still get up after being hit by all of her super fast attacks. Oh my god.
無駄ですよ。聞きません。ほら、無駄無駄無駄です。入江は何度でも蘇る。メイドがそこにいれば何度でも蘇る。
I forgot he's a maid enthusiast.
それが人類の夢だからだ。ギャングヒブビオ。
それでもダメ。レナがお持ち帰り。
How? How? Area was down on the floor, his body twitching. Rena just hit him with a barrage at point-blank range. He ain't getting up anytime soon.
圧巻な光景だな。
Actually, that costume's like very fitting for Satoko because she has that like posh manner of speaking, which is fitting of like, I don't know, like the elegant maid uniform, I guess.
勝ってよかったと同時に負けてたらその一角に俺がいたかもしれないことを思うととても笑えん。
全く悔しいですわね。いくら罰ゲームも部活の務めとはいえ、こんな格好はあんまりでございましたよ。
チェ、おじさんの格好に比べたらサトコの格好なんてまともな方じゃない。
Yeah, at least your like legs are being covered.
メイドの格好がまともに見える時点でみんなただれてると思い
It
ます。
is. I love costumes like that.
ほらほらレナ、いつまでもハウハウしてないで席に座れ。負けた連中にサービスしてもらうのが勝者の特権なんだからよ。
Oh yeah, they're all underage completely. I think the oldest one here is like 15.
今日は誰をお持ち帰ろうかな。
Well, except for Irie, he's like in his 30s, which makes it really weird that he's saying stuff about 15-year-olds. But what do I know?
そら、ウェイトレスさん、今日のおすすめは何か
I'm not saying this game is completely innocent. I'm not saying it.
こちらのフルーツパフェはいかがでしょうか。
ただいまシュークリームのセットがお安くなってましたよ。お水ならいくらおかわりしても OK なのです。
Rena's nose was bleeding because she got to keep the waitresses in cute costumes all to herself. I should actually thank her for acting crazy like that because it made me look calmer than I really am. I was as excited as her and my nose would bleed too if I wasn't careful. I now understand what a slack-jawed smile means. Of course you do.
ねえねえ、リカちゃんウェイトレスさん、あーやって。
Oh.
ですよ。
さとこ、俺にも一つ頼むよ。
So, see, it's cute if Rena does it. It's not if Keiichi does it. That is just bad.
ああ、ミオンには肩でも揉んでもらおっかな。
もう悔しいですわね。ほら、なさいませ。
肩もみか。おじさんの肩もみは高くつくからね。
Double standards, but also true, right? Yeah. I bet Angel Morph has never had an event as exciting as this one. That's true. I bet it hasn't. Every table had 4 people squeezed in together, but only Rena and myself were at this table. And 3 waitresses in cute costumes were exclusively serving us. They were giving us shoulder massages and feeding us desserts, too. This had never happened before at Angel Morph, and it will never happen again.
そうでがこの人たちはでは拙者のお部屋を一つお願いしたいでござるよ。
Sounds like a good porn intro. It wouldn't be good because there'd be no consent and they're all underage, but you know. One of the other customers wanted to get a piece of the wonderful treatment and patted me on the shoulder.
悪いけどおじさんウェイトレスじゃないのよ。
That's true, that's true, that's
お
true.
部屋はあっちにいる本物のウェイトレスにお願いしてくれる？
Hi, Bryce.
なんとウェイトレスさんではないのでござるか。申しはしてもらえんのでござるか。
別に私たち店員さんじゃございませんもの。あなたたちにサービスする言われなどありませんでしたよ。
Satoko telling you like it is.
勝者の2人の慰み者なのですよ。
Me.
納得できん。
Right, I agree. All of a sudden, Kamita-kun screams, starting to blame me.
納得できんって一体何が納得できないんだよ。
K さんばっかりこんな美味しい部活ができてずるすぎるさ。
いや、それは俺たちも相応のリスクを払って得た権利だからな。ずるいと言われても。
僕たちもずるいと思います。
Kamita-kun and Okamura-kun were standing behind
大
Kamita.
体前原さんが昨日ので優勝できたのは僕たちが委員長を背後からやっつけたからですよ。
前原さんが負けたら罰ゲームがかわいそうだなと思ってわざと負けてあげたんです。僕たちにもちょっとは感謝してほしいです。
Getting paid to listen to people bitch, right? For real. Working retail is ridiculous.
なんだか面白い展開になってきたね。どうするケイちゃん。
どうするも何も俺にどうしろと。
よしよし。亀田君に富田、岡村。そこまで言うなら今日の勝者の権利をかけてケイちゃんとレナに勝負を挑んでみたら？
みーちゃん、それってどういう意味かな。
部活メンバーの他の精鋭たちを圧倒的大差で破ったお二人だもんね。こんなメンバーですらない連中なんか束でかかってきても負ける気しないでしょ。
Kamita-kun clapped his hands with glee. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun nodded in agreement. They looked fired up already. Right? That's how... True. You're right. Unfortunately, that is how it is. Damn it. I have to fight against them here?
そういえばケイチさんとレナさんの勝負は預かり勝負でございましたものね。少し外野が混じるとはいえここで優勝決勝戦をされるのも面白いですものね。もちろんここで負ければ僕たちと一緒に罰ゲームに加わってもらうことになるのです。
くそー、 なんかうまいことやられてる気分だが、レナはどうする？
レナは負けないよ。だってみんなレナがお持ち帰りするもん。ケイチ君はどんな罰ゲーム服かな。みんなお持ち帰り。
She sure is motivated. I could see Kamita-kun was ready to fight for the ticket to paradise at Angel Mort. My two underclassmen were also eager to have a chance to fight against the members of the club for the first time. She sounds like you. Oh god, of course he's joining too. It's one thing for the kids, it's another... it's another for a 30-plus-year-old man.
よっしゃ、このメンツで決定しよう。ケイちゃんもレナも依存はないね。
ちぇ、依存も何も勝手に話をまとめやがって。
まあまあ、面白くなった方がいいでしょ。
富田さんも岡村さんもやめておくなら今のうちでしたよ。分かってると思いますけど、負けたら大変なことになりますのよ。
それは覚悟のうちです。
僕たちも男なんです。いつかは戦いたかったんです。
They've seen the many horrific punishments we've had to suffer, and they still have the courage to join in. I had to admit, they have potential. Kamita, the evil lord of Angel Mort, sneered at the two.
まさか K さんと再び戦えるとは思わなかったっすよ。今回は正々堂々正面からぶつからせていただきますよ。
よりによってエンジェルモートで亀田君と戦うことになるとはな。ある意味野球で戦うより手強い気がするぜ。
Coach Irie, the count of maids, laughed like he was afraid of nothing.
ここは大人の本気というものを見せてあげましょう。そして今日ここに入江京介のためだけの
That's not the right kind of harem, my dude. No, stop. This is not okay.
みんな勝たせてあげないよ。は
う。よし。俺も覚悟を決めたぜ。いつまでもぼやいていても仕方ねえや。見よ、勝負は何でやる。
Yeah, all the background voice actors kind of all sound like the same for the most part. But I really, really like the main ones.
そう来なくっちゃね。みんな道を開けて。ウェイトレスの皆さん、運んじゃってください。
In the kitchen, the real waitresses are standing by with many desserts on trays. It looks like the game is going to be either a speed eating or a competitive eating contest. Isn't that the same thing?
本当にいいんですか？
Isn't speed eating a competitive?
ああ、いいから運んじゃって。面白いことは何でも大歓迎だよ。せっかくのイベントでだしね、盛り上がらないと。
The waitresses checked with their manager and started bringing in the desserts. I don't know. The two of my underclassmen at Kamita-kun, Coach Rena, and I sat at a table together. A horrific amount of desserts was brought before us. I wanted to enjoy watching the cute waitresses placing desserts on the table, but right now I was in a fighting mood. I had no time for that. The audience surrounding our table seemed to have grown excited too. I bet it didn't even cross their minds that they would see a serious battle at Angel Mort today. But they didn't care, as long as it's fun to watch.
さーて、制限時間内にどれだけのデザートが食べられるかの勝負だよ。あらかじめ各メニューごとに重さは出してあるからね。食べ終わった後に食べた総重量で勝負をつけよう。
Ah, I see. When the words competitive eating came up, Kamita-kun smiled evilly. Damn it, Kamita-kun had the advantage.
委員長、僕たちはコンビですので、 2人で1人の扱いにしてください。
ああ、いいよ。
What?
いつもコンビだからね。特別に許可しよう。
Damn it, having two stomachs for a competitive eating contest was an absolute advantage, too.
レナはどうだ？やっぱり女の子には胃袋勝負はきついんじゃないか？
そんなことないよ。かいいみんなをお持ち帰りできるならテーブルごとだって飲み込んじゃう
I'd
よ。
even swallow a table! Rena! What? A table? Really? Okay. I underestimated her. Rena can overcome physical impossibilities when she goes into cute mode. She might even be able to eat food that's heavier than herself.
監督はどうですか？大食いは。
前原さん、そこにメイドがいて、それを手に入れるための条件が大食いなら、私に不可能の文字はありません。
I guess he had black aura surrounding him, which I found very intimidating. The glint from the eyes that shone from behind his lenses was sharp enough to pierce an iron board. Damn it, he was in maid mode, which is equally as strong as Rena's cute mode. Is it equal? I don't know. I think Rena beats him. I was the only one without any advantages, like usual.
じゃあ準備はいいかな。レディーゴー。
I wasn't ready emotionally, but Mion started the game without hesitation. Damn it, there was no turning back. I had to do this. There were many kinds of desserts before us. Some were easy to eat, some were not. So I had to get the dessert that's the easiest to eat before anybody got it. What about the yogurt parfait? The yogurt parfait? But of course, everybody seemed to be thinking the same thing. Why is that the easiest to eat? Everyone reached out for the same dessert as fast as they could. A white light flashed in front of our eyes and the parfait disappeared. My hands clashed with the others in midair.
みんな遅いよ。レナがお持ち帰っちゃった。はう。
Rena took the parfait. She was literally as fast as lightning. Damn it, I knew it. There was no way I could beat Rena in the opening move. Rena took the parfait like a frog catching a fly with its tongue and swallowed it in a single gulp. She did all that in seconds. She's usually gentle and calm, but she's a totally different person right now. Really, it's terrifying. I see. I now understand why people say women always have room for dessert. Hey! Hey! But in the special environment of Angel Mort, Kamita-kun wasn't far behind Rena. He grabbed a fruit parfait and swallowed it as if drinking beer from a mug. It looked very dynamic.
無駄ですよ、ケイさん。エンジェルモートでの戦いで俺に勝てる可能性は 1% もないっす。まだまだ行くっすよ。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun looked at the extraordinary techniques Rena and Kamita-kun are displaying, but they seemed to be very calm. They knew their advantage. As long as they kept a steady pace, they could eat more and eat faster than anybody else because there are two of them. Rena and Kamita-kun were eating very fast, but they might slow down in the middle, so this was going to be an unpredictable race. Son of a bitch. I won't lose this game. Who are you, Dean Winchester? I shoved my dessert into my mouth and kept eating. I just kept eating. Damn it, my mouth got extremely cold when I swallowed a ball of ice cream. How could the others do this so easily? There's an idea. I should melt it first. I could use some kind of heat to melt it first and then drink it down. Plus, it would also be easy for my stomach to take when it's not so cold. But how should I melt it? It would take too long to use body heat. I didn't have any other source of heat with me.
すみません、ウェイトレスさん。注文をいいでしょうか。ホットコーヒーをお願いします。できれば器は鍋だと助かります。
He's so smart.
監督。
甘いですよ、前原さん。熱で溶かすなんてて、私だって思いついていました。
No, damn it. He was one step ahead of me. I could order hot coffee too, but I'd still be one step behind him. I'd have to come up with something to melt my ice cream faster than hot coffee. How?
クールになれ、前原圭一。考えるんだ。考えろ。
This guy. Keiichi-kun held his head, screamed that line, and bent his neck backwards. 2 hot coffees! Yes! When he gets like this, he always speaks everything that's on his mind. It's very fun to listen to. But I had to concentrate. I needed to win this game. I was going to keep eating as much as I can and take all of the adorable girls home with me. That's illegal, Keiichi! I was having so much fun. I was so thrilled that I felt like my heart was about to burst. I might have been acting totally uncute, but I didn't care exactly because I was having so much fun. Mii-chan always comes up with such extraordinary games. Satoko-chan loves to play pranks. Rika-chan is very sneaky, but it's impossible to hate her. Is this from Rena's perspective? Keiichi-kun is always so funny. Yeah, it's gotta be. I enjoy every day. I wish I could express how much I really do enjoy them better than by saying how happy I am. Sometimes I even feel anxious because I enjoy every day so much. This got really somber really fast. Jesus. Where was the segue? I missed it! There is as much misfortune and pain as there is happiness and pleasure in this world. And I know very well that they all come to you regardless of how hard you try. You'll have happy days regardless of how hard you try. You'll have unhappy days regardless of how hard you try. But that doesn't mean that you don't need to try hard. I can try to make my happy days even happier and last longer. The Segway got hit by a truck. In the same way, I can try to make my unhappy days happier and end faster. I struggle very hard to achieve that. That's why I'm going to enjoy the happy days I have now as much as I can. I must not take them for granted, because they won't last forever. They won't. One day, all of a sudden, these happy days will come to an end. I know it. That's why I was trying to enjoy the happiness I received today so that I wouldn't regret it, even if the world ended tomorrow. I noticed my hands stopped moving while I was thinking about these things. When spending time with my friends, I feel so happy that my heart might burst. I even love doing the punishments. They're fun for me. I have friends. I have a place where I fit in. I have time in which to be myself. I have a me that I love. I love everybody. I love Mii-chan, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan, and Keiichi-kun. I love everybody in my class and everybody in Okinomiya. I know! Jesus! It was all like ridiculousness and then see what I mean? Like it gets dark real fast. And I was just talking about how I thought it was weird that it was from Keiichi's perspective, and now it's Rena's perspective for a while.
無駄無駄無駄エンジェルボートでこの俺に勝とうという時点で蜂蜜杏仁豆腐より甘いぜレナさんしっかりしてくださいまし
People die when they are killed. That's like, sounds like one of the quotes that happens in Supernatural. There were so many quotes in that show that I was just like, well duh, like, if there's a lock, then there has to be a key. Or if there's a key, then there has to be a lock. And I'm like, well duh. You stupid. Jesus Christ! Holy mind! Jesus Christ! Stop it! Don't give them ideas! They'll do it! They will do it!
見てろここからいよいよ圭一様の逆転劇の始まりだぜなあみんな
レナどうしましたですか
I had left the table.
ごめんちょっとお手洗い行ってくるね
I was just so happy. I didn't care who won or lost this match. Of course, it's more fun when I go crazy to try and win, but I could never be happier than this. That's an even worse idea. If I could seal this happiness in a piece of crystal, I'd carry it around with me in my pocket. I'd use it as heat to ward off the cold of hard days that are certain to come to me. I know they will. You're not truly happy when you feel happiness. Somebody write that down. That's a quote. Holy shit. When you're bored with happy days and don't even realize that you're happy, that's when you've achieved true happiness. You only truly feel happiness when you're in a freezing cold environment. That's the only time your heart can feel the warmth of even a small happiness. That's an interesting perspective. On my way to the bathroom, I saw a waitress and a customer arguing at the register. The customer was a woman. The waitress was trying to explain that the lady needed a ticket to get a seat because the restaurant was holding an event today. But the lady, saying she didn't know, was still trying to get a seat. After a while, the store manager was called and started apologizing to the lady. Oh, she's the, I've seen her picture. She's the, what do they call them? Mistress to, the uncle? I think, right?
チケットないなら入れないって表の見えるところにちゃんと張り紙しといてよ。
I guess so.
たく客を何だと思ってんの？
The lady's eyes met mine. I guessed who it might be when I heard the voice, so I was prepared.
あら、レイナちゃんじゃない？こんなとこで会うなんて奇遇よね。
Oh, they know her? They know each other?
あ、どうもこんにちは。こんなとこで会うなんて本当に奇遇ですよね。
This has gotten like 100% more interesting now that it's from Rena's perspective. I held out my hand for a high five. She gave me one.
聞いてよレイナちゃん。ひどいのよ。今日はチケットがないと入れないとか言うのよ。
そうみたいですね。
まあ仕方ないわね。ねえ、お店には入れなくてもお土産にケーキくらいは売ってくれるんでしょ？
ええ、それは問題ございません。さあさあ、どうぞこちらからどれでもお選びください。
Store manager gave her a fake smile and led her to their showcase.
私はこの可愛らしいのにしようかしらね。あの人はショートケーキみたいな地味なのが好きだったっけ？ねえレイナちゃん、あなたはどれがいい？
私ですか？いいのいいの？は
本当にこういうのに目がないわね。
This music is very unsettling.
どれでも好きなの選んでいいわよ。
What is happening?
じゃあ、私もショートケーキでいいです。
あら、他にもこんなに可愛らしいケーキがたくさんあるのに。
なんだかとっても迷っちゃうけど、こういう時はショートケーキが一番美味しそうに見えるんです。
Yeah, I can see angel beads from that, yeah. How?
そう。じゃあ、ショートケーキを2つとプチトリアノンを1つ。
Petit Trianon? What is
お持
that?
ち帰りでね。
She imitated the smile I usually made. I replied with the same big smile. Then I smelled the strong scent of her perfume, and it made me sneeze.
あら、風？
Renaissance perfume, and I never seemed to get along. What? How does she know her? What is happening? What? What? Alright, I need answers. Give me answers. Huh. No! Stop it, Holy Mind. Quit. Business card. Rena, height 168 centimeters, 89, 60, 87. I don't know what that means. I'm interested in indoor gardening. I want to make tea with the herbs I grow. No, it's not a hentai game. No. I always enjoy your funny and interesting stories. We should go out somewhere next time in private. Gentleman's Club Blue Mermaid, private manager. Oh, she's the manager of the Gentleman's Club. Of course she is. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. I'm not surprised. Okay. Which is where her and the uncle met. I assume.
少なくとも3日くらいの間は甘いものを見たくないぜ。
You won't even think about hentai once it gets to the parts later where it's just murder and, you know, freaking death all the time. Unless that's your kind of hentai, in which case that's your own business.
ケイチ君頑張りすぎだったもんね。
True. Rena ate a massive amount of desserts too, but her stomach seemed to be just fine.
女の子には胃袋が4つくらいあるんじゃないか。デザート用に確実に1つは余計にあるに違いない。
True, there's always room for dessert.
まあ、レディーになんたる暴言ですの。
Speaking of, I want chocolate now. I always want chocolate though.
そんなこと言うケイチさんにはこうでございますことよ。
Bam. Ow. Stucco had poked me very hard in my bloated stomach. Oh my god, that sound. Ew, Keiji.
やめて。お腹は押さないで。中身がはみ出る。
Sudoku and Rika-chan grinned mischievously upon hearing that. A chill ran up my spine. Why were they smiling like that and walking towards me so gleefully?
やめろお前ら。血とか涙とかはねえのかよ。
I mean, but it's not fun unless it has sugar in it, right?
千載一遇のチャンスを見逃す私と思いまして。ケイチの膨らんだポンポンが大変なのですよ。ケイチくんのポヨンポヨンのポンポンかわいいよ。
Oh. I mean, but you can still taste it. I dropped it! My chocolate! Come back to me! Eh. Chocolate isn't meant to have health benefits. It's meant to taste good. That's my opinion. Rena joined Satoko and Rika-chan in torturing me. We were still making a lot of noise outside the restaurant. I desperately blocked my stomach from their attacks, but someone else hit me from behind. Oh, Shion, how you doing?
ケイちゃんとその愉快な仲間の皆さん、こんにちはです。お、しーちゃんだ。こんにちは。あれれ、今日はお店にいなかったよね。
You still have the posture of trying to hit someone's booty, I see.
私、今日は夜のシフトなんです。さっき来て着替えたばかりですよ。
それはそうと。お前、よくその格好で店の外に出られるな。
大したことないですよ。あられもない姿で村中を練り歩いた誰かさんよりは恥ずかしくないです。
Yeah, they made Kiichi wear a maid costume that one time. That was funny. Damn it, I was just getting over it. She had just reminded me that I'll never be able to get married.
それはそうと。
Sure you will.
今日は皆さん、だいぶ大暴れしたらしいですね。
Somebody might be into that, you don't know.
まあね。いつもの部活になっちゃった以上、ね。
Hi, darling. Hi, cutie. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. It's okay.
Yeah.
店内とんでもないことになってましたからね。お姉も責任を感じたようで、みんなに混じって掃除をやってます。 やっぱり私たちも掃除に加わった方が良かったんじゃありませんの？
Yeah, I can't drink coffee. It's too bitter for me.
あ、それはお気遣い無用
And
で
if I
す。
do drink coffee, it has to be loaded with sugar or something. Until the point there where it's really not coffee anymore. You can't taste the coffee.
さすがにお客様に掃除はさせられませんから。
そもそも
I love
一番
hot
散らかし
chocolate.
たのはミー本人だと思いますです。
Yeah, that's right. Everybody nodded in agreement.
それでお姉から伝言です。皆さんは先に帰っててくれていいそうです。
I don't need caffeine, man. I have heart palpitations and stuff, so it's really not good for me.
いいよ、待ってるよ。ねえみんな。
Rena asked for our agreement. Of course we decided to wait without hesitation. Stoko, Rika-chan, and I all nodded along.
手伝えないならせめて終わるのを待ってるよ。帰っていいからって言って先に帰ると、
Yeah.
あいつ寂しがると思
I
うか
do
ら
get some
な。
exercise at work, which is a good thing.
おお。ケイちゃんも日進月歩。
I mean, if I could get through some of these games that I'm playing, I would definitely, sorry, I'm aggressively petting my cat. I would definitely play more Beat Saber. Oh, I don't know about that.
まあね。レナたちがちゃんと教育してるからね。ねえ。ですわよ。ニパ
Nipa! That's my favorite.
なんだよ。こういう時だけ女どもは結束しやがって。
I hate girls. I don't agree with this statement. I love girls, but they get along so easily just because they're girls. I mean, not always. In the end, we ended up making a lot more noise, even dragging Shion into the mess this time.
シオン、あんたいつまでサボってんの？
I mean, that's fair.
雑巾どこやったの？ありゃいけね。じゃあ私はもう戻りますね。
My thing is, I need to start playing more variety of songs, and I need to start with like hard mode. You know, because I usually play normal mode on my own, and I'm not quite at expert or expert plus level, obviously, for my gameplay. So like I need to find songs that have a hard mode, and then I need to like play a bunch of them until I feel comfortable with hard mode, and then I can go up to expert and work my way up. Of course, sometimes like even if I don't want to do ranked. Ranked stuff is not fun for me. I don't like ranking in anything I
お
do.
掃除まだまだかかりそう？
え、何みんな。おじさんを待っててくれてるわけ？余計な気使わなくていいって。まったくもう。
Mion looked happy to see us waiting for her, but she always says the opposite of what she thinks. I wonder when she'll grow up to be able to just honestly say thank you.
バカ、仲間だろ。
I don't want to play a map just because it's hard, though. That's just not
終わるまで待っててや
fun
るよ。
for me.
レナたちも一緒にお手
That's
伝
what
い
I'm
できれ
saying.
ば
I
いい
want
の
to start with a
にね。
map that I can, like, that's gonna be a little hard, but I can somehow feasibly do at least somewhat, and then get good at those maps, and then work my way up to the harder maps.
ごめんね。
だからいいって。今日ね、シオンの仕事終わるの待ってから久しぶりに沖宮の家に帰ることにしたの。だから本当に大丈夫。気持ちだけでも感謝するよ。
あら、本当にいいんですの？ なんだか悪いですわね。なんか悪い気がするかな。
人は大勢いるから大丈夫だよ。風が冷たくなる前にみんなひなみ沢に戻りな。
I don't even know what that means.
わかりましたのです。みー、お掃除、ファイト、おーです。
ファイト。
お、ありがとね。じゃあケイちゃん、お嬢様方のエスコートをよろしく。途中で死角に襲われないようにしっかり護衛するんだよ。
I mean, I don't really have any grandparents anymore, so she couldn't actually, but looking around, I didn't see any ladies who needed an escort. I felt more like I was the one who needed protection. Anyway, we said our goodbyes, make it easier for us to end the day and go home.
じゃあね、みーちゃん。また明日ね。
No, it's all good. It's all good. I've made my peace with it.
また明日ね。
よっしゃ、行こうか。
We waved at Neon until she went back inside the restaurant, and after all, we got on our bicycles and left Okinomiya. Okay. Back to Hinamizawa we go! On the way home, we talked about how exciting it had been today, and it looked like everyone was so fired up. We had the horrifying punishment and the competitive eating contest, which turned into an unprecedented battle involving all of the customers in the restaurant, and after that, everything got crazy and messy. At first, the waitresses didn't know what to do, but after a while they ended up joining in. We had a blast.
でしたのよね。
Yeah, I'm at least going to be streaming for probably another hour, maybe 2, depending on how long these chapters take, so yeah, I'll be around.
その時の富田さんと岡村
Feel
さん
free
な
to
ら
lurk.
もうおかしくてたまりませんでしたわ。結局亀田も入江もかわいそうだったのです。
いやいや、しかし俺の演説もなかなかだったろ。あの時は店全体が俺の味方だったよな。
Sorry, I was checking my phone.
圭一は生まれる時代と国が違ったらひょっとするととんでもない人になってたかもなのです。こんな口先男がですの？どこの国に生まれてもろくな人間にはならないと思いますでございますわね。
I mean, sometimes.
あと100年も早く生まれていたらお札になっていたかもですよ。圭一さんのお札なんてなんだか貧しいですわね。きっと200円札とか300円札とかそのぐらいの数でしたよ。
Stoko and Riki-chan kept up their continuous chatter. I was a bit tired after the day's events, so I just listened quietly. I noticed the wind was getting colder. Our shadows were getting longer as well. Stoko and Riki-chan still had a lot of energy left, but what about Rena? She'd been very quiet. Maybe she also had a stomachache from eating too much. I looked at Rena to see. However, I was wrong. Rena was... I didn't really know how to describe it. She looked very satisfied. She looked like she really did have that much fun. She looked like she was as happy as she could ever be. I could tell all that without saying a word. When I looked at her, it made me realize that the word fun wasn't enough to describe what we did today.
今日一日本当に楽しかったな。
ケイチ君は？
俺も最高に楽しかったよ。今日みたいなことが明日や明後日もあればいいのになってくらいにさ。
それはレナも同じかな。今日のお店の中での時間だけが永遠だったらいいなって思った。
おお、詩的なことを言うな。
She speaks some good words when she wants to.
ケイチ君は思わなかった？
Rena didn't notice that I made fun of her. I might have been a little tactless. Suddenly I regretted having said it.
いや、俺も同感だよ。
でもね、ケイチ君。別に今日だけが最高に幸せってわけじゃないんだよ。
A cool wind blew through her hair. She smiled at me, and for some reason she looked very mature. Her appearance made my heart skip a beat.
私たちのひなみ沢での日々はどの一日だってかけがえのない大切で素敵な幸せな一日なんだよ。たとえ部活がお流れになっちゃって退屈な一日だったとしてもね。
レナは大人な考え方ができるんだな。
I love rooibos tea. It's one of my favorites, actually.
そんなことないよ。本当はまだまだはしゃぎ足りない。興奮がまだ冷めないだけなのかもね。
How do I prepare mine? I take the leaves, if I have leaves, and I pour boiling water over it. And if I have a tea bag version, then I heat it up in the microwave for like 2 minutes. And I put cream on it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I use a coffee creamer in mine, actually. I have a sweet tooth, I guess. I don't know. I have to put sugar in everything, which is not healthy, and probably why my heart rate is high, but you know. Rena laughed, and that made me laugh too. Hi, Sonic! I've been doing okay. I'm a little bit sleepy today, but I'm okay. Stucco thought that they were laughing because we said bad things about her, and she started bugging me about it. Once again, we made a lot of noise, like we always do. Yeah, true. True.
では、僕とサトコはここでお別れなのです。リカ、もう少しご一緒してタバコ屋さんで曲がってもいいではありませんの？豆電球が切れたのを忘れましたですか？豆電球がないと寝るときに真っ暗になってしまいますですよ。それは困りますわね。あ、牧野さんの雑貨屋さん？ならここでお別れだね。これ以上行っちゃうとどんどん遠回りになっちゃうからね。
Makino-san's general store. Oh right, that's where it is. If they wanted to make a stop at the store before going back to the shrine, turning here would be the quickest way.
そっか。じゃあな、リカちゃんにサトコ。 また明日な。
また明日なのです。それではですわ。ケイチさんにレナさん。じゃあね、二人とも。バイバイ。
Yukicha and Satoko waved at us many times, then took the narrow path through the field. Once the noisy girls were gone, it went especially quiet all of a sudden. It even made me feel as if the sun had set in an instant. I could see my house by now, which everybody called the Maybara Mansion. I didn't notice it earlier because of how fired up we all were, but my stomach was about to burst. The growling in my gut felt like thunder. My body must have been paying the price for me acting like I was an idiot earlier. There was no way I was eating dinner that night. I needed to tell my mom before she started cooking. But before anything, I had to get to the bathroom. My stomach was churning. Oh boy, it really didn't sound good. We've all had those moments. We go to the place where I'd always meet Rena in the morning and say goodbye in the evening.
今日はすっげえ楽しかったな。
すっごい楽しかった。あれ、ケイチくん具合悪いの？
すまん、お腹を壊したかもしれない。おとなしく休むことにするよ。
ケイチくんもまだまだお腹の鍛え方が足りないかな？
レナだって俺と同じくらい食べてるはずなんだぞ。一体その細っこい体のどこにあれが収まるってんだ？
Very carefully.
それは女の子の秘密ってことで。
Rena giggled and tried to avoid giving me an answer. She'd probably hit me if I pressed her about it. If she punched me in the stomach, I'd throw up for sure. So I decided not to go any further.
じゃあな、レナ。また明日な。
また明日。
また明日ね。
俺さ、前は都会に住んでたわけだけどさ。こんなにも一日一日を楽しいと思って過ごしたことはなかった。俺、ひなみ沢に引っ越してきてさ、きっと幸せなんだって思う。
レナも同じだよ。
Aww. That's sweet, Keiichi. You're never sweet. What's going on, man?
ほら、私も1年前にひなみ沢に引っ越してきたわけだけど、こんなに楽しい幸せな日々を送れるのが信じられないもの。
So I think we're just seeing the scenes in between what they showed us in the first arc, because these were scenes that, like, the sideline kind of stuff, you know?
そっか。なら明日も絶対に楽しいな。
そうだよ。昨日も今日も楽しかったんだもん。
It's interesting, like, the scenes they chose to show you and what they didn't show you. Like, and how, like, the answers lie in the scenes that were hidden, but were happening at the same time frame.
こんなにも毎日が楽しいと、なんだかある日突然転びそうで怖いよな。
転ぶときはどんなに注意してても転ぶよ。だからいつ転んでもいいように思いっきり今を楽しむのが正解だと思うな。
そうだな。今を精一杯楽しむのが正解だな。
じゃあね、ケイチくん。おばさまとおじさまにもよろしくね。さて、レナはまだまだ遊び足りないから、 また宝の山に宝探しに行こうかな。
まだ遊び足りないってのか？つくづくタフなやつだな。負けたぜ。
どう？よかったらケイチ君も一緒に来ない？新しい山があってね、まだ全然発掘してないの。何かとっても可愛いのが見つかるか
も。悪いけど俺はパスするよ。それになんだか雲が重たくなってきたみたいだしな。レナも今日はおとなしく帰宅した方がいいんじゃないか？
はう、こういう素敵な気分の日にはね、きっと可愛いのが見つかるんだよ。だからちょっとでも行ってみるね。
I felt sick enough that I didn't feel like going with her. If I felt better, I would have gone treasure hunting with her for sure. She didn't want to go home just yet because she didn't want the fun day to end. That's exactly how I felt too.
わかったよ。じゃあな。可愛いのがあったらぜひ見せてくれよな。うん。じゃ
あね。バイバイ。
See, this is Rena's perspective. Okay. Keiji-kun waved over and over as if he didn't want to say goodbye yet. But after a while, he was gone. Well, I had to go too, because I was going to go treasure hunting. I love cute things. I had such a wonderful day today. Oh. Why did the music leave? But I'm sure I'm going to get lucky at treasure hunting. I definitely will find some wonderful treasures. I pedaled my bicycle with determination. My house was nearby, but I took another street that led to the dam construction site. Might have been okay to go home just then, but I hesitated to go since I didn't want to be seen. I had so much fun today, and I wanted to continue feeling happy as long as I could. It was already getting late, but I felt like it was getting darker faster than usual. Just like Kichi-kun said, the clouds in the sky were growing darker. It might start raining hard.
でも別に、だからって家に帰れるわけじゃないんだし。
Stop it, Rena. You had so much fun today. You have to stay happy as long as you can. I'm happy. I enjoy every day. Rena, say it. Say the magical words. Oh. Don't be embarrassed. You're not dumb or anything. I might be able to enjoy every day even more if I were dumb. If so, dumb is what I'd want to be. There, I said it. I'm sure I can find something cute. As long as I believe it's cute, anything can be that way. I should fill my heart with happy memories of today and yesterday. I should look forward to the happiness I'm going to receive tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, too. She's going through something. I'm not sure what, but she's definitely going through something. It's reminding me a lot of Sayori from Doki Doki, who struggles with depression. Also, this track is so nice. I reached the dam construction site. A mountain of trash loomed before me. I parked my bicycle and walked down the mountain of trash and scrap. This place is my castle. It would be incredible if anyone else came to this mountain of trash. I've come here many times, and I usually stay for a long time, but I've never seen anybody walk by. This place is the village's blind spot. I heard that many people came here all the time during the dam wars, but it was abandoned after that. The villagers no longer need to come here. Some people even forgot about it entirely. Seems like they dump trash here at midnight, but I've never seen a truck actually dumping trash, at least. If they dump new trash more often, it'd give me more time to kill. But it looks like it's not going to happen for a while. Yeah, that she does it on purpose, to like perk herself up. That's sad. I walked down the slope of the trash pile all the way down to the bottom and headed behind another pile. Nobody ever comes here. I've come here many times and I usually stay for a long time, but nobody has ever come to mess up this place. Not even other kids from my school come here. They all believe that the arm of the manager of the construction site is buried somewhere in the trash piles, and they also believe that the whole place is haunted. They told me that a ghost with one arm still wanders around here looking for his missing limb. Sadly, I haven't seen the ghost either. I'm not scared. In fact, I'd rather like to meet him. I wouldn't mind helping him find his arm. If he's feeling lonely, I'd want him to be my conversation partner. That's an interesting conversation. There's a station wagon buried in the trash pile. It doesn't have tires, but other than that, it still looks like a station wagon. This station wagon is my secret hideout. Unfortunately, the sliding door and rear doors don't open. So whenever I want to get in, I have to enter the car from the passenger seat and crawl onto the back from there. Of course, I take off my shoes at the passenger seat. When you look at it from the outside, it's just a dirty, abandoned car. But on the inside, it's nice and clean, because I had swept it out and decorated a little. That took me a long time. The back seats are lying flat because I wanted to have as much space as possible. I found a mattress in the trash pile and put it on that space instead. It was a bit dirty, so I brought a bedsheet from home and covered the mattress with it. I put my favorite cushions on top, and with that it turned into a perfect bed. Does she sleep here? I've put cushions and stuffed animals everywhere. That's not at all. Look at this. I have a bunch of sweets here, too. I have a bag of fruit candy in 4 different colors, and some cookies. But they're going bad. I'll have to throw them away. My bear-shaped water bottle was empty. When I came here to spend some time on Sundays, I usually bring this water bottle with some sweetened tea in it. I have a box of tissues, a flashlight, extra batteries, and other daily necessities in here. I also have a few books to read in order to kill some time while I'm at it. And I have this. What do you think this is? Look, ta-da! My hideout is suddenly lit up thanks to the table lamp. There's an electric outlet on the side of an old nearby construction office. I thought they'd have cut the power years ago, but to my surprise, I was wrong. Electricity is still being supplied to the outlet. When I found tons of extension cords, I came up with the idea to connect them all and make the electricity come all the way to my hideout. Now I can spend time here comfortably with some sweets, books, and lights. If I wanted to, I might be able to spend a night here, but I may catch a cold since it gets very cold at night. See? This is a very nice hideout, isn't it? At first, I thought somebody would find it and mess with it, but that hasn't happened so far. It's because nobody comes here, and everybody forgot about this place. It's how this place became my perfect secret hideout. Fortunately, I ate so much today that I'm still full. I can tell them that I was playing with my friend at her house and ate dinner there. I'm going to stay here for a while and relax. And I'm going to treat myself. I loved the water gun battle yesterday. My heart had been pounding when I fought one-on-one with Keiichi-kun. I also had great fun at Angel Mort today. I'd never experienced such a crazy game with so many people in my life. I was still feeling the after effects, and I was sure I'd have a dream about it tonight. That was why I wanted to bask in these happy feelings. That was why I'm going to treat myself in here. I should take off my shoes and stretch my toes. I should cherish the time when I can be myself. Once I took off my shoes, I felt so relaxed that I didn't want to put them on again. I played all day today. I was very tired. The treasure hunt could wait. As it got darker, the light of the table lamp became encouraging. It really was getting dark faster than usual. All of a sudden, I heard the sound of raindrops hitting the roof of the car. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. The interval between drops got shorter and shorter. When it became a continuous sound, I began to hear thunder, even though it was raining heavily, and remained very quiet inside the car, making me feel like I was in a different world. It's my castle, after all. I felt a bit cold, so I unfolded my big blanket and hid under it. I'm here alone under the warm blanket that has my scent. Even though nobody knew where I was at the moment, I felt like I was left alone in the heavy rain. I still felt secure and free from anxiety for some reason. I felt like this heavy rain was keeping my enemies away from my castle. I liked it that way. Damn, there is something. She is struggling with a lot of stuff. This place is full of small happiness. It's full of my favorite things. That's why I'm happy whenever I'm here. When I put another blanket over me, I felt as warm as if I were in bed. I listened to the soothing sounds of raindrops hitting the scrap iron and the trash heaps, and it made me feel sleepy. This is a castle of trash. This trash came here because nobody wanted it. Oh. Nobody wants her, so that's why she feels at home here. Oh, that's so sad. This is where it lives. This is a country where unwanted refuse lives together. It felt like I fit in here, but at the same time, I knew it was just a temporary place for me, as there's somewhere I had to go back to. No, I shouldn't think about things like that. Whenever I realize that I don't belong here, I remember I'm in the middle of a very dirty pile of trash. I should just doze for a little bit longer. Thinking is poisonous. I wanted to keep myself out of that poison, so that the kind Rena within me could stay pure. A little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. And I closed my eyes. Meh. Now I'm sad. What's going on with my Rena? I feel like I'm gonna get sadder with this story. I'm preparing my feelings now. Mind, why you make me sad? Goodness, I'm sleepy. I've had a long day, even though I was, actually off today. Like, the mind makes you sad, you know? Because most of your actual emotions stem from your brain, not from your heart, where people say. My mother was a very busy woman. The harder she worked, the more her work was valued, and she kept getting promoted. She sought to go higher and higher. She was always shining, and she was my hero. My mother started her career as a fashion designer at a small clothing factory in Okinomiya. My father was a designer, too. They met through their jobs and soon got married. They lived in a small apartment in Okinomiya. They moved to my grandma's house, our current house in Hinamizawa, when she got pregnant with me. We lived there until right before I went to elementary school. Now that I think about it, that was the happiest time of my life. I felt happy every day and believed without a doubt that tomorrow would be the same. I was so happy that I took it for granted and didn't even feel the happiness. I really did feel happy every day. I was small at the time and didn't really understand what was going on, but it seemed like the company my parents were working for was having financial difficulties. So my mother and a few other young designers started talking about leaving the company and going independent. After many things happened and the situation grew complicated, they got an offer to work at a big design firm in Ibaraki, and they took the offer. At that time, I heard my mother saying many difficult words like limited partnership and business alliance, but in short, what she wanted to do was move to Ibaraki. My mother and her peers were hired because their talent and experience made them immediate assets to the new company. However, my father wasn't one of them. Unfortunately, my father wasn't as talented as my mother was, so moving to Ibaraki meant that my father had to give up being a fashion designer. Oof. My mother's new company had high expectations of her talent and promised her a responsible project. She didn't want to waste her growing talent and passion by living in a rural town like Hinamizawa. So my mother convinced my father to quit his job and move to Higurashi to support her and to help her build her career. Back then, moving meant that I had to say goodbye to my close friends. But nobody cares about the kid, you know? I didn't want to move, and I kept crying about it. After we moved to Ibaraki, my mother was a big success. Not only did she have great leadership skills, she was full of energy, and I believe she made the best use of her talents to succeed. She came home late every night. She barely had any days off. When she had a big project, she often stayed entire nights at her office. When she came home, she always looked fulfilled and wore a happy smile that she had never worn when she was in Hinamizawa. She was shining, and I remember I always wanted to shine like her when I grew up. On the other hand, my father wasn't doing so well. He couldn't find a job as a fashion designer, so he took a clerical job at a small company, but he kept changing positions. He couldn't use the experience that he had cultivated, and it was very hard for him. But he was very understanding. He started to take care of things around the house for my mother, who got busier and busier, having one project after the other. He cleaned the house, did the laundry, and came to my school events. However, he couldn't cook. He did cook rice, but always bought side dishes from a grocery store. We ate dinner with my mother more and more often. Did that say with or without? Without my mother more and more often. I was about to say, I was like, she's busy though. Every time I said that, he always told me, your mother is working very hard, so let's support her, Reina. That was what he always told me. I decided to help my father with the cooking. I thought it was a good idea to learn how to cook since he wasn't very good at it. Whenever my mother cooked, I helped her and tried to learn how to cook from her. She apologized for not having enough time to cook for us, but she was happy that I was learning. I think I wrote in my school yearbook that I wanted to be a clothing designer in the future, just like my mother, but apparently I lacked my mother's exceptional sense of style. She used to tell me, taste is something you're born with, not something that you cultivate. I remember I was discouraged to be a designer because of that. Honestly, like, certain things do kind of come naturally to some people, but, like, you can always learn. You know, you can always learn, even if you don't start off. You gotta start somewhere, you know? That was why I decided to reach her by getting better at things that she wasn't so good at, instead of trying to be like her. I wanted to be good not only at cooking, but also at doing things around the house, such as cleaning, doing the laundry, and grocery shopping. I remember my father was really happy that I did all that for him, because he wasn't very good at it at all. He couldn't find a job and spent a lot of time at home, so he seemed to enjoy spending time doing the housework with his daughter more than anything. Oh, that's sweet. I started to become better and better at filling in for my mother, and she started to get too busy to do any of the housework at all. She moved on to a more responsible position at her job. She took me out to many places as if to compensate for leaving me alone all the time. She used to say, let's go eat something delicious without telling your father, and took me out to a restaurant. She took me to high-class restaurants and amusement parks. Sometimes it was only me and my mother, sometimes it was with her friends from work. She took me to a beach barbecue one summer with those friends. I was introduced as her daughter, and every one of them pampered me. I still remember there was this one guy who particularly doted on me. He was a good-looking young man. I called him Uncle once, and he got mad at me. He was nicely tanned and dyed brown hair. Dyed brown hair. Huh. This young man often came to visit us when we went out. When my mother took me somewhere, she usually made several phone calls from her work during the day, and sometimes she took me out to a place where she could also do her work at the same time. So she's cheating on the husband. Okay, I see what's happening. So I didn't feel awkward when her people from work came with us, but I always preferred to be alone with her, so I was happier when we could do that. One day she took me to a very high-end part of town. Of course, she always spoiled me whenever we went out. She brought me things and let me eat whenever I wanted. She especially spoiled me on that day. She took me to many expensive-looking boutiques and accessory stores. She was about to buy me something, but I told her not to get it because it didn't look good on me. Without hesitation, she bought it anyway. I remember there were many zeros on the price tag. On that day, I realized my mother's design work had made her a very successful woman, and she was earning a lot of money. We took a break at a ridiculously expensive-looking restaurant that probably charged 1,000 yen for a glass of orange juice. That's a lot of... My mother clapped her hands and spoke to me with a smile on her face. She asked, Reina, would you like to make your dream come true? When I was in kindergarten, my teacher gave students a topic to draw a picture of. The topic was my dream, and I drew myself eating a mountain of fruit parfait all by myself. That sounds fantastic. What my mother meant to say was that she was going to make that dream come true for me. It was a normal day. It wasn't my birthday or anything, but since my mother always spoiled me when we went out together, I didn't feel awkward about it at all, and I accepted her offer with a happy smile. Hi, Shadow! There were 5 or 6 fruit parfaits in front of me. I remembered it looked exactly like the world I drew, and I felt like I was floating in that dream world. It was too much for us to finish, but we dug our spoons into it as if we were playing in the mud, and we really enjoyed eating it together. It was my first time to experience getting full by eating only 2 fruit parfaits. By eating only fruit parfaits, and I remember I was very happy. I enjoyed tasting the happiness and chatting with my mother.
Hey, Na-chan. この間、映画とお食事に行った時、一緒だった人のことを覚えてる?
Yeah, I'm having an affair with him.
秋人おじさんだっけ?
Ouch.
お兄さんって呼ばないとぶたれる。
レイナちゃんは秋人さんのこと好き？
嫌い。いつもレイナのことからかうもん。
He might also be abusive.
それは大好きだからちょっかいを出してるのよ。
Okay, listen. If someone constantly like teases you and hits you and stuff, that's not because they like you. That's because they're a dick, okay?
バーベキューの時はとっても仲良くしてたじゃない。
And I'm pretty sure this is Satoko's uncle, who is an asshole. A alcoholic, drunken bastard who just destroys the hopes and dreams of children. Which is how she knows the mistress, because the mistress is his mistress, and she knows him through her mom. My mother laughed. I didn't know why she brought up the subject, but I didn't really pay attention to it because I was too young. Now that I think about it, she was breaking the news. I just didn't notice it.
ねえ、レイナちゃんはお母さんとお父さんとどっちが好き？
お母さん。
It wasn't that I hated my father or anything, but I thought giving her that answer was appropriate after she spoiled me so much.
もしもお母さんとお父さんが別々のお家に住むことになったら、レイナはどっちのお家に住みたい？
That's such a hard question for a child to even... Because children don't know what they want. Like, they don't know, you know, what this environment is going to be like. You know, they don't know. There's no way they can digest that.
お母さんね、お父さんと別れて秋人おじさんと結婚しようと思うの。
Ouch. At that time, my mother was a very successful woman. I didn't know this at the time, but she was drafted by a headhunter to work at a bigger company, where she was promoted to a higher and more responsible position, one where she could bring out the most of her talent. Of course, the position wasn't the only thing she gained. Compared to my father's low salary, my mother was earning enough money to support a family and still have some left over. I kind of realized it from the way she spent money. The greater a position she achieved, the more she spent with people at her level. All of them were bright and talented. Compared to them, my father might have looked unattractive to her. But it's the father's fault. Or it's the father's fault. It's the mother's fault for forcing him to give up his dream and, you know, to where, yeah, he's not going to make a lot of money because you killed his dream, basically. I liked Uncle Akihito, but I liked him as one of my mother's friends, not in the same way I liked my father. I liked my father and mother equally, so it was very shocking to me that my mother wanted to divorce him. I felt as if the ground below me was beginning to crack. That expression, I realized, actually fit my situation very well. I had to choose which side of the cracked ground I wanted to stand on. Hi, Eden! My mother told me to live with her at her new house. Her new house meant the house Uncle Akihito lived in. I thought a house was a sanctuary for a family. I believed that a house was a holy place where strangers couldn't easily enter. That was why I couldn't believe her. How could she let a stranger invade such a holy place so easily? That's very hard. Yes, I honestly, like, feel the same way a lot. Yeah, because my parents are divorced too, and it's just, like, it's so hard to, like, comprehend, you know, like, them thinking about other people, you know? It's just like, how do I, like, because they just feel like strangers to you, you know? Why do you hate my father? My mother looked down and didn't answer. I asked her another question. Why can't you stay with my father? I think that was the hardest and the most heartbreaking of all questions for my mother to answer. In short, my mother had cheated on him. She loved another man who was more attractive than my father. It was just that, and nothing more. I knew more than anybody that it wasn't my father's fault. First of all, he decided to move from Hinamizawa to support my mother as much as he could. For him, nothing good had come from that. Actually, I think he had a very tough time since we moved to Ibaraki. But he volunteered to be her support and tried very hard to do that. Yeah, I'm doing alright. How are you doing? And I also very much like visual novels. I am like one of the only VTubers I know that plays visual novels like consistently like this, so yeah. I really like Higurashi a lot. I thought my mother appreciated his support. So, I took her decision as a betrayal. I told her that I disagreed with everything, including their divorce. I said it very loudly and made everybody in the store jump. Sure, continue your relationship with Uncle Akihito, but don't divorce my father. I feel bad for him. I feel terrible for him. He has been doing nothing but supporting you patiently this whole time. How could you do such a cruel thing to him? I screamed as loud as I could, and my mother answered. It's too late. Why? You haven't talked to my father about this, have you? It's not too late. You're pregnant. Of course you are. Of course you're pregnant. Oh boy. I didn't know Reina had supposedly was supposed to have a sister. Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. I didn't know whether my mother actually told about the divorce in person. A middle-aged woman who called herself a lawyer came to the house several times to talk to my father on my mother's behalf. She sometimes called him, too. My father begged the lawyer to let him speak directly to my mother many times, but it never happened. I could tell by the way they talked that he had no clue my mother told him she wanted a divorce. Well, again, I'm not even sure if she told him in person. That's just a bitch move. Like, don't even tell him in person. Don't even have a conversation. Just, like, send someone else to tell him. Like, this cowardly bitch. A lawyer told him not to meet my mother, not to call her at work, and many other things, too. To top it all off, she told him not to see my mother ever again. He wanted to talk to her. He called some of their mutual friends, but he only found out the name of the guy she was having an affair with and nothing more. He asked me, "Do you know the guy?" I told him, I do. I also told him that he was a funny guy and had given me candy many times. I'll never forget how he looked when I told him that. He hit me for the first time. Oh, Jesus! He hit me so hard that his handprints stayed on my cheek for a while. Then he fell on the floor and cried loudly. Oh. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta put my sad expression on now, because this is apparently sad hours. Jesus, I wasn't expecting sad hours so early. And then I started to cry too. Not now, music! Not now! I know! I didn't cry because he hit me. Uncle Akihito was kind to me. I love this track, though. It's so gorgeous. Was kind to me, so I liked him and talked to him out of courtesy. No, that wasn't it. Girls had to be kind to everybody. That's what I thought. But I was wrong. I learned in this world that there were people you should be nice to and enemies you shouldn't be nice to. The enemies are the one who would destroy my life and their very existence. Whether they mean to harm me or not doesn't matter. They're like weeds growing in a flower bed. Dandelions are innocent, but they take all of the nutrition for the tulips from the soil. That's why we have to pull them out. Interesting. The dandelions did nothing wrong. But they're the enemy. Huh. Actually there was something... there's another conversation, it's not quite the same thing. But, there was a conversation in, it was a anime/manga called, Flying Witch, and they were cutting apple, I think it was apple trees. and they were cutting, like, parts of the apple blooms off. And the little girl was like, hey, why are you cutting the apple blooms off? And they said, oh, it's because if you let all of them grow, then they will overlap each other and, like, destroy each other. So it's kind of the same thing, you know, it's that the dandelion will take up all the nutrients and destroy the other flowers, so you have to, like, cut off some of the blooms to get the other, to make sure that the other blooms grow and that the tree actually prospers, which is crazy. Like, I never thought about it that way. This is very similar conversation. Oh, I'm sorry, Boom. Is there anything I can do to help? I'm sorry I'm going through sad hours right now. Yeah, always hang out with us. Yeah, we'll keep you, company. Yeah, I feel you on the tired, I really do. If there's anything you want to talk about, you can send me a DM. You know, my DMs are always open. The dandelions did nothing wrong, but they're the enemy. Enemies are bad people. That guy was a bad person. I shouldn't have accepted him. I should have rejected him with everything I had. By doing so, I might have been able to disrupt their relationship. By doing so, I might have been able to make my mother feel like the relationship was not going to work. If I tried to do so, my parents wouldn't have had to break up. My father and I cried together, but we cried for different reasons. He must have cried because it happened so fast and didn't make any sense to him. I cried because I regretted that I let it happen when I had the chance to prevent it. My father stroked my cheek and opened his mouth to apologize, but he couldn't speak and just cried with me. One day the lawyer let me see my mother. My mother asked me to live with her at her house again. I didn't know what to say, so I just kept looking down and listened to her apologies. My father knew that I was going to see my mother on that day, so he handed me a letter and told me to give it to her. I don't know what he wrote in that letter, but for some reason I was able to imagine what kind of things he wrote when I felt it through the envelope. After all, the letter inside the envelope had a rough surface. He must have been crying while writing the letter. His tears made the letter all wrinkled when it dried. My mother took the letter from me, told me that she'd read it later, and was about to put it in her bag. I stopped her and told her to read it there. I wanted to see how she was going to take the last words that my father had left to her. But my mother didn't read it. She told me she wanted to read it alone later, and she put it in her bag. At the time, I realized, no, it was more than that. I should say I knew, because it was so obvious. I knew that my mother was lying. She had no intention of reading my father's letter. She was going to throw it away after I was gone. But she lied just because she wanted to seem like a nice person in front of me. The slight curl in her eyebrows and lips told me that more clearly than anything else. This bitch. Listen here. At that moment, I finally knew something else. The guy she was having an affair with wasn't the only bad person. My mother was also a bad person. Since that moment, the existence of my mother disappeared from my world like dry ice evaporating. I didn't have to hesitate about whom to live with anymore.
あなたの家には行きません。私の家は竜宮の家です。もうあなたとも会いたくありません。
Damn.
二度と呼ばないでください。
でもね、レイナ、お父さんの方に残ったらこれからの生活。
At that moment, I hated my name for the first time in my life.
私のこと気安くレイナって呼ばないでください。失礼します。さようなら。
Those were my last words to my mother. No, to the woman who used to be my mother. After that, I spent many days without feeling anything. I didn't know if the days were long or short. I didn't know which season I was living in. It was supposed to be nothing out of the ordinary, not having my mother around. But every time my father saw things that reminded him of her, like her toothbrush, her teacup, or her favorite books, he shed tears, which left me frustrated. That's why I decided to completely remove her belongings from the house. I roughly threw her things into a black trash bag. I started to do so frantically. By the time I knocked down her wardrobe, threw her music box hard on the floor, and broke her mirror. My mind was already not working properly. When I try to remember what happened after that, I feel disoriented. It's because the pills the doctor gave me back then made me feel disoriented and lethargic every time I took them. Seems that dullness hits me especially hard, since every time I try to remember that time, it makes me feel disoriented and lethargic, just like the pills made me feel. Oh, damn. She went through some trauma. I destroyed everything that smelled like my mother. The thing I wanted to destroy the most might have been myself. Even after I threw all of the belongings away, I still couldn't stop feeling regret, and I decided to blame myself in the end. Maybe I was thinking that I wanted to do damage to her reputation and successful life by destroying her daughter, destroying myself. When I was about to reach that very last resolution, oh no, here it comes. Oyashiro-sama came to me. Oyashiro-sama told me to go back to Hinamizawa. Yes, all of this was because of his curse. Oyashiro-sama brought a curse upon the Ryugu family because we broke his rule and abandoned Hinamizawa. After I figured that out, everything started to make sense to me. All the crazy things that happened after my mother was gone. The curse of Oyashiro-sama did all that to us. It was Oyashiro-sama's voice that was telling us to come back to Hinamizawa. That's right, we should have stayed in Hinamizawa. Everything went crazy because we moved. We had to go back to Hinamizawa. I started feeling disoriented again, and a dull pain ran through my head. It might be a scream from within me telling me not to push myself too hard or remember any further. The house where we used to live in Hinamizawa was still there. My grandma had already passed away, and the house was the only property she left for us. I remember that I used to live in Hinamizawa, but all I remembered was that it was a village that I used to live in until right before I went to elementary school. Excuse me. I remember the atmosphere of the village too, but that was all I remembered. I forgot the streets and even the names of close friends I used to play with. The neighbors knew that the son of the deceased woman had come back divorced. But they didn't know us, and we didn't know them. So it was almost like we moved to a new place. However, as far as I was concerned, it still was my hometown that I had to come back to. At first, everything was inconvenient compared to life in Ibaraki, and it was hard for both of us to adjust. But we renovated the old house, and it was only me and my father. Life here seemed to make my father forget his pain from the divorce. Michan was very kind to me, and I started to get used to my new life too. I did everything around the house, and we gradually went back to a time where we used to live happily. Anybody can live a happy life. People sometimes say that some people are born to be unhappy, but I believe that's just an excuse for people who don't even want to try. I won't give in to fate. I'll never give up trying to recapture the happy times that I lost. I'm going to become happy to the point where I don't even feel the happiness anymore. I'm not going to cry anymore. I'll never cry again. I used up all of my tears on that night my father hit me. The curse of Oyashiro-sama is over because we came back to Hinamizawa. So I'm going to have a happy life from now on. All of a sudden, big raindrops hit the roof of the car, and I recovered my senses. It was still raining hard. It had already gotten dark outside. The shadows the table lamp created were very dark. It looked as if there was nothing else around me. If I turned off this light, would everything in this world disappear? I turned off the light. Darkness swallowed me, but the cold air and the scent of the rain didn't change a bit, and that made me realize I was still in this world. The curse of Oyashiro-sama. Did the curse of Oyashiro-sama do those crazy things to my family? Or did I convince myself it did it as an excuse for myself because I didn't want to feel guilty about the divorce? Sometimes I'm not sure. Since that time, Oyashiro-sama hasn't come to me. I sometimes feel like it was a delusion I created because I was mentally ill. But he did come at that time. I'm sure about that. Am I right, Oyashiro-sama? I was unhappy after I left Hinamizawa, but I came back and I'm happy now. But where am I supposed to go now that I'm unhappy in Hinamizawa? Where?
ダメだ、レナ。 幸になったとか考えちゃいけない。私は幸せなんだ。幸せになるんだ。だから絶対に幸せになれるんだ。
Suddenly I felt that if this darkness swallowed me, I'd never be able to be happy again. I found the switch of the table lamp and turned it back on. When I looked at the clock, it was already past 11 p.m. I had to go home. I wouldn't have time to prepare my lunch for tomorrow. At least, I'd have to set the timer on the rice cooker. It didn't look like the rain was going to stop anytime soon. I looked out of the window to see the rain, but could only see my reflection. I talked to that reflection in the window. I'm so glad that my father's happy. He'd been acting like he was dead for a long time. The smile on his face is a good sign that he's regaining his former happy life. He became miserable because of me. That's why I don't mind doing things for him until he regains his smile and we became truly happy. When I stay here for alone for a while, it gives him some time to be alone with her. Plus I don't have to fake a smile. But then my reflection in the window tells me, Rena, you're such a good girl. You're kind to everybody and love them equally. You can make anybody like you. But did you forget something? In this world, there are people you should be kind to. And enemies that you have to reject with all you've got. I thought you learned that lesson. No, don't listen to her. My reflection is always mean. She always says mean things and makes fun of my worries. But she always tells me things that I can't say myself. Let's go home, Rena. To your home. Forget about the mean Rena in the mirror. I was a bit hungry by then. So she definitely has, like, bipolar disorder of some sort. And maybe some, what's the word? When you have multiple personality disorder? I was a bit hungry by then. After all the desserts I ate, I still got hungry. I almost forgot. Mina-san bought me a shortcake. I never had shortcake from Angel Mort, but I bet it'll taste good. I'd have to give my thanks to Mina-san the next time I see her. Mina-san speaks in a way that makes it very clear how she grew up, but I'm sure she's a good person. It's because she's so good to my father. Oh, wait. No. Wait. So her father is seeing Rina, but Rina is also with Akihito. No. Oh my freaking god. I did everything I could to make my father smile, but I failed. On the other hand, Rina-san can put a big smile on his face so easily. I have to thank Rina-san. I have to thank her for cheering up my father. But I don't know why. I just don't like her perfume. Damn! She's cheating on her father! Why? Why? Why is her family so cursed? That's awful. Oh my god. Damn. My summer vacation picture diary. Today I went to a swimming pool with my mom. Uncle Akihito came with us too. I don't like him because he's sometimes mean to me, but he's a very kind and funny old man. He told me to call him Daddy for that day, because he was going to play with me at the pool like he was my daddy. My mom called him Daddy, so I did too. Uncle Akihito looked very happy and gave me a lot of money. My mom looked very happy and it made me happy too. I want to play with him again. I hope my dad can come with us next time. I don't know about that. That's one of her. Premonition of rainy days. I opened the window, placed my cushion nearby, and prepared to enjoy the weather. But she came over and disrupted my peaceful evening. She always ruins my time of solitude.
幸せそうね。そっか。今日はあんたの大好きな甘いものがたくさん食べられたものね。
This girl loves sweets more than anything. I like them too, but I can't eat like she does. It'd give me heartburn if I ate the amount she had today. She seemed to be very happy, so I'll leave her alone for a while. I'd been making my favorite hot and salty food for the past few days, so she must be quite pleased today. It was a very fun day for me, too. I just wanted to enjoy the memory of the excitement I felt today by sitting here quietly, enjoying the sunset. When I looked up at the sky, I saw some thick clouds forming there. The wind was a bit cooler than usual. It might start raining soon.
大地震や大津波などの知らせとして、浅瀬に普段は絶対に見かけることができない深海の魚が現れることがあるっていう話があるらしいわね。
We saw a very rare fish that dwells in deep water in the shallows today. Just as the ancient stories of sea monsters say, people hate deep-sea animals and tend to interpret them as omens of disaster. It didn't matter if they showed up alive or dead, I said something interesting just now. Even if they showed up alive or dead, it was an omen of a disaster. Oh, it might start raining soon.
うるさいな。言われなくても分かってる。洗濯物を取り入れるわよ。
I grabbed a basket and went outside to take the laundry in. The clouds were getting darker. I normally like rain, but I didn't think I'd enjoy it today. Huh. Was she talking about Satoko there? Or was she talking about Rena? Because Rena was in the car, so there's no way she could look after her. Or unless she was just speaking, like, out loud or something. Because she is kind of a god, question mark? Alright, do we do another chapter, guys? One more? I'll put the happy expression back on, because, you know, I might turn it right back to sad in a minute. I don't know. I also have to get ready for bed and stuff, but depending on how long this chapter is, I could probably do one more. What do y'all think? Do y'all want one more? One more time. One more time. Talking about Rena, I believe, with the bipolar slash personality disorder. I'm debating. Should I do one more? Do you guys want one more? Want another one? Okay, I'll do one more. One more.
Oh, 来た来た.
Also, feel free to use my sound alerts and my redeems if you like.
Ohayo, Rena.
I have a lot of them now.
今日はケイチ君の方が早かったね。
I can't look at her the same way after knowing that.
普段を棚にあげるわけじゃないが、俺が朝の待ち合わせでレナに勝つなんて珍しいこともあるもんだぜ。
レナ、今朝はちょっとお寝坊した。昨べ寝つかれなくってね。
レナもか？実は俺もなんだよ。昨日の大騒ぎの余韻がずーっと残っててさ。布団に入っててもなかなか眠くならなくて夜が長く感じたぜ。
All of these girls have went through so much trauma. Like all of them. All of them. Mion and Shion had to deal with the Sonozakis and their, you know, torture freaks. Not as well as they are Yakuza, a Yakuza family. And Rena had to deal with all that with her parents' divorce, and not only that, but she has some sort of multiple mental disorders, it sounds like. And then, I'm not sure much about Rika's past, but I'm sure she went through something very traumatizing as well. I know for sure she lost her grandfather. And then Satoko was, like heavily abused, and neglected in her arc. So yeah, oof, they've all been through some shit. The coach slash doctor's name is Irie. Yesterday I had a lot of fun with my friends and went home still riding that high. I was too full to eat dinner. I kept talking with my parents about the great time I had over the past few days. I was so pumped up that I couldn't go to sleep. Kinda sounds like I'm a little kid. But given that Rena seemed to be the same way, I felt better about it. No, I felt better isn't the right way of phrasing it. I could say, I'm glad to know that we shared the same feeling. Rena went treasure hunting after I left. I'm sure she found many adorable things, went home, and talked with her parents about how great the day was. Who are we talking about? I'm so confused.
Oh! ミオンが先に待ってるなんて今日は雪が降るかもな。
人が珍しく先に待ってりゃそういうこと言うわけ？
それを言ったら私より先に待ってた圭一君も珍しいよ。雪が降るかもね。
人のこと言えないね。
You obviously? Alright. Sure. It's going to be another happy day today. I had fun the day before yesterday. I had fun yesterday, so I'm going to have fun today for sure. I'm happy, and Miona's happy too. Of course, Rena and my other friends are equally happy. I'm not afraid to say it, and I wish these happy days would last forever.
Nah, Mion.
Unfortunately, this is Hinamizawa, and nothing ever ends happy here.
今日は何をして遊ぼうな。
今日の部活？何がいいだろうね。レナは提案ある？
そうだね。昨日おとといと体を使うゲームが続いたから、今日はあまり体に激しくないゲームがいいな。
そうだな。レナの言うのも一理あるぜ。部活は肉体勝負だけが全てじゃねえだろ。
もちろん。心技体すべての要素において完璧であってこそ部活メンバーだからね。じゃあ今日は何かテーブルゲームで遊ぶことにしよ
う。Everybody was early this morning. We could enjoy our walk to school for once. After a while we started talking about the upcoming festival. They told me that the festival was called Waranagashi and that it's the biggest event of the year in Hinamizawa.
そうだそうだ。昨日沖宮の家に親類が集まっていろいろと話が出たんだけどさ、ケイちゃんの話題が出たんだよ。
俺？園崎家の重鎮が集まって一体何の相談だよ。
いやさ、昨日のエンジェルモートでのケイちゃんの活躍を見てた店長の吉郎おじさんがさ、ケイちゃんのことを相当気に入っちゃったみたいでさ、それでいろいろと話を聞いてみたら、他の親類も意外にケイちゃんのことを知ってる人が多いんだよね。南沢の名物男みたいな言われようだったよ。
名物男ってのはまた微妙な称号だな。その称号の9割方はミオンの罰ゲームに関係があるような気がするぞ。
それだけじゃないけどさ、ノリもいいし元気があって無鉄砲なところも今時の若い子にしては感心感心とみんなベタ褒めだったよ。
I mean, he's kind of a dumbass though. I don't know why they're so impressed. I felt a bit embarrassed to know that people I haven't met were speaking well of me. And he's also a pervert, but then again, apparently every single man in this series is a pervert, so whatever.
でね、今後の綿流しのお祭りで何かで活躍してくれないかなって話が出てね。ケイちゃん目立つこととか好きでしょ？
Well, I don't know. Old man Kimayoshi isn't.
おいおいおいおい。本人不在で
That I
勝手に
know.
話を進めるな。俺は孤独と静寂を愛するロンリーガイだぜ。
誰がロンリーガイだ。ローンボーイの間違いでしょ。
はあ、ローンってケイチくん。お金に困ってるなら協力するよ。は
うおー、そこまで財布事情に困ってねえし、レナも真に受けてそんな目で見るな。
I think I missed an entire conversation, but okay. We really were still feeling the after effects of yesterday. Mion and I made a lot of noise teasing each other on the way to school. Rena watched us and laughed happily. Stuck on Rika-chan were already there when we arrived at school. They were also full of energy. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were too. From that, I can tell that they also had a good time yesterday. Everybody has been having a good time, really. In Hinamizawa, everybody is happy.
まだ引っ越してきて
Until they're not.
1年も経ったわけじゃないけどさ。
That's what I keep saying. Until they're not.
どうしたの突然。
And it seems like, especially from knowing Rena's perspective and like a lot of the other characters, like things have not been happy for a long time. Even like before the festival stuff happens, like the real bad stuff happens. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. It's just they don't talk about it. Like everybody hides everything. It's probably a lot of it's probably like the small town thing where like everybody's just expected to be happy and just, you know, everybody knows everybody and everybody wants to hide all the bad stuff because it's a small town. But there's also this huge like toxic thing with mental health where especially Japan does this, and a lot of other countries do this as well, and it was much worse back when this period was set, which is the 80s, where they tell you to just hide everything and just pretend you're fine and not talk about what's going on, and it's not healthy.
いやさ、ひなみ沢に引っ越してきて、俺幸せになったなって。
Honestly, it just makes these, you know, this stuff worse, and that's why everybody like is so much worse. And all right, as long as it's not a NSFW picture.
どうしたのケイちゃん、急に臭いこと言い出して。
レナにはわかるよ。ひなみ沢に引っ越してきて全てが幸せになった気持ちよくわかる。この村にはね、きっと人を幸せにする魔法がかかってるんだと思うから。
Why would you say don't look and then tag me? Like, because now I'm gonna have that notification forever if I don't look.
レナは幸せか？
レナはひなみ沢に引っ越してきてからが毎日幸せだよ。
そうだな。そいつは俺もだ。
ちょっと。なんかおじさんだけのけ者っぽくない？ブーブー。
Silly wolf lady. That's the worst insult I've ever heard. How dare you? How dare you? The sky was clear, and the few thin clouds were pure white. The cry of the cicadas was telling me that summer would be coming earlier than usual. I kind of look like Daphne, actually. From Scooby-Doo. Wada Nagashi is just around the corner. I'm sure we'll have a great fun at the festival, too. There will be more and more fun days to come, I'm sure of it. Summer is just around the corner. Funny enough, my sister actually has that same colored hair. Like, almost. It's just no highlights on it. Why don't I dress up like that all the time? Because I'm lazy and it takes too much work. And I like to be comfortable in my everyday life. That's too much work, man. The last class of the day was finally over, meaning that it was time for club activities. I was sure it would be fun. I couldn't wait. But then Mi-chan received a call and told us something had come up and she had to go. So we didn't have a club meeting today. I was really looking forward to it. There was nothing I could do, but I could at least chat with Keiichi-kun on the way home. It'll be fun. Keiichi-kun sometimes says mean things, but he's very funny. When I chat with him, my depression goes away. Wait, what did I just say? Am I depressed? I have so much fun every day and I'm as happy as can be. That doesn't mean you're not depressed. What did I have to be depressed about? Well, it was obvious. Because of Rina-san, my father is happy now. I mean, I, for one, just don't really like makeup. It doesn't make me... I don't know, I just prefer natural looks on people. Or on myself, I guess. Other people look great in makeup. I don't know. But I always told my friend, like, if I ever... The only time I would ever allow anyone to put makeup on me would be for, like, cosplay stuff. Like, special effects for, like costume characters. But even then, that has yet to happen, so... Before he met her, he was like a lamp in broad daylight. Because I have a little bit of trauma with that. I've always been very tomboyish and not really liked that kind of stuff. And one of my friends, like, and their family kind of, like, wanted to push the girly, you know, mentality on me and to try to, you know, push me to be someone I wasn't. And, like, forced that stuff on me. And it kind of traumatized me. Like, there was one instance, like, they put a bunch of, like, makeup on me, and then they, like, didn't tell me how to take it off, and I was terrified that it was never gonna come off. So I was, like, freaking out, trying to, like, rub water all over it, and wouldn't come off, and I didn't know what to do. Eventually, I just washed it so much, and, like, kept peeling it until it came off, but... it was an experience, and it has kind of left me traumatized at this point. But, yeah, before he met her, he was like a lamp in broad daylight. Honestly, he was like the living dead. But after he met Rina-san, he started to smile like he used to when he was living with my mother. He enjoyed talking with her and started going out with her. You could probably say they went on dates. Now he looks 10, no, 20 years younger. Rina-san gets along with my father very well, and she was very kind to me too. There's actually no reason for me to hate her. Yeah, I guess you could boil it down to, like, stupid high school kid shit, but no, it wasn't okay. And their family was kind of a little more, I guess you could say, like, traditional or whatever, so they thought that's how, you know, girls should act, and it just was not for me, you know? But yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that they're better people now, you know? That was kind of a little bit a while ago, so... There's actually no reason for me to hate her, but the memories of my parents' divorce and my many regrets were gradually eating away at my heart. Was it okay to accept that woman? Rina-san might be the same as how Uncle Akihito turned out to be. She is! And she's dating Akihito! Is she the enemy who takes my happiness away with her very existence? With or without bad intentions? Am I going to sit around every what? I thought it was gonna say around every evening until everything collapses again, but it just says sit around until everything collapses again. Should I fight the enemy before it's too late? Rina-san comes to my house a little too obviously. And that's kind of a thing with me, like, you know, with mental health and stuff. And I talked about this on Melisma's channel when she did a mental health charity stream to support, you know, awareness for mental health and stuff. Anybody is, like, free to talk about anything here. This is a safe space. Also, for sure, if it's, like, super serious and you really need to talk to someone, please DM me. But, like, this is a safe space for anybody. Whatever you've been through, like, I'm here for you, and this is a place for you to be yourself. So I'm always very adamant about that, because no one should be hiding everything they're going through and suffering and pain alone. It causes this kind of shit to happen, and it's not okay. Since my father started letting her stay the night, many of her belongings have turned up in the house. My father and I don't smoke, but there's an ashtray in the living room. The futon in our guest room is hers now. In the bathroom there's a toothbrush and shampoo I'd never choose to buy. I started to feel awkward about those things, and that's when I started noticing it at the front door when I came home from school. Her perfume. I asked my father once if he was thinking about getting married to Rina-san. He looked a little embarrassed, perplexed, and confused. He told me not yet. He knew I was hurt by the divorce. That's probably why he couldn't admit that he wanted to remarry. That's why he said not yet. He considered it, but not while I was living with him. That's what he meant, I guess. At least he's good enough to do that, you know? A lot of people would just remarry and not give a shit about the kid. There's only one reason why I don't want him to get remarried to Rina-san. I feel offended that my sanctum, my family, is being invaded. I might be being selfish, though. I know keeping my father all to myself means keeping him miserable like he was before he met Rina-san. He has a life to live, too. It's his right to heal from the pain from the divorce and to live, to find his new love. He wouldn't have had to go through that painful life if I'd prevented the divorce from happening in the first place. He has a right to a happy new life that lets him forget the pain he never deserved, and I don't have any right to stop him. Honestly, all of this is, like, something that has happened to me. Like, I feel all of these words right now. It's just like, they have a right to live their life, and it's okay, but you also feel like your family is torn apart, and that the other person is, like, invading into your life, and it's just painful. Like, and you don't want them to not be happy, but at the same time, it's painful and awkward, and it just, I don't know, for me, it just don't feel right. In fact, I have an obligation to try to return his happiness to him. I have to pay for my sin, my inability to prevent his divorce. Then what should I do to make both of us happy? I wouldn't be that difficult. All I'd need to do would be give my silent approval of their relationship. My father tells me he won't get remarried while we live together. That means I should stop leaning on my family, be strong, and live on my own as soon as I can. Well, it doesn't mean I can tell him not to go out with her until that day. Rina-san comes to our house to see him despite our busy schedule. She even stays the night whenever her shifts permit. They're adults. I have no right to say anything against that. That's why I chose to give my silent approval of their relationship and tried to see her as little as I could. I get along with Rina-san on the surface. I know my father would have a hard time keeping face if we did it. But it's a very exhausting and painful thing to get along with a person I don't really like. So whenever Rina-san comes over, I spend as much time as possible outside, then head home late. Michan's club activities are the most convenient thing to do to kill time. But there are some days where we don't have a club meeting. On those days, I while away my time at the garbage dump hunting for treasure alone. And that's how I started to make my secret hideout. My father can do whatever he wants with Rina-san at home. I don't have to see them together. I can spend my time peacefully at my hideout. I sometimes feel depressed about my life. I sometimes want to talk to somebody about it. But nothing will change, even if I talk to somebody. This is all I can really do. The most important thing for me should be to overcome the sadness of losing my family as fast as I could, and to regain my own happiness. I have so much fun every day. I'm happy every day. Even on the way home, Keiichi-kun was talking about funny things that made me laugh. My feeling gloomy in spite of that was kind of rude. My father should be happy. I should be happy. I just feel sad because I still can't separate from my father. Prior to the unexpectedness of the divorce, Rina-san's invasion is a very slow process. I think Rina-san understands how I feel. She treats me very kindly, but she doesn't do more than that. I think she understands that I'd feel uncomfortable if she did. I respect Rika-chan because she's strong even without her parents. Compared to the pain of losing both her parents unexpectedly, my problem is like nothing. It's true, she did lose both of her parents, yeah, and her grandpa. I respect Satoko-chan's toughness, too. She also lost her parents and was forced to live a painful life under her uncle and aunt. Compared to the cruel treatment she had to go through, my relationship with Rina-san is a blessed one. I keep feeling anxious, but that's just because I'm still immature, because I feel like I'm not ready to separate from my father. I have to be strong like Rika-chan and Satoko-chan. Yeah, but just because someone else is going through, you know, quote-unquote, a more difficult time doesn't mean you're not struggling and that your feelings aren't valid, too, you know? Like, everybody is going through different pains in their life, and everybody deals with things at a different pace, and it still hurts, you know? I have to try my best to be happy. I'm going to live with all my might in order to regain the peace of mind that I lost that day. My assumption that I'm not happy is just a mistake. I should appreciate the wonderful days I spent with my wonderful friends. Just by realizing that I'm happy, the world shines so brightly.
それでね、あんまりにも可愛いから、レナ、ハウお持ち帰りって。
やれやれ。レナは毎日を楽しく過ごすことに関しては達人だな。
レナは毎日が楽しいよ。こんなにも素敵な友人たちに囲まれて過ごす、こんなにも素晴らしい日々があって、どうして不幸が感じられる？
There's a lot of reasons, though.
だな。不幸なんかここにはないよ。
Everybody's secretly unhappy and no one wants to talk about it. That's what's actually happening.
いつまでも楽しくて不幸なことなんかとは一切無縁。それがひなみ沢ってとこなんだからよ。
Oh, that's some bullshit. That's the biggest bullshit I've ever heard, Keiichi. That's not true. He should have stopped right there. But he just kept going.
レナが羨ましいよな。
Don't say that. Never say, Never say you're jealous of
その悩み知らずな
someone.
能天気さが羨ましいぜ。
You fucked up. You dumbass. You dumbass!
バカにされてるっぽい気がする。でも毎日が楽しいなら私は能天気でもいいかな。
This is what I mean when I say he's a dumbass. He has no idea what's going on in their lives. And he relatively lives a happy one. His parents, like, are nice to each other. They still live together. Like, his parents are nice to him. He's not being abused. Like, everything in his world is, like, normal, you know? Not to say he hasn't had difficulties himself, but, like, nothing like the rest of these characters. I don't have any worries. I feel like I do, but that's just because I'm immature and still want my father's attention. Come on, say the magical words. It'll cheer you up.
Huh?
It didn't make sense to say it now, but I was going to say it anyway because this is my magical phrase that always cheers me up.
お持ち帰り。
なんだよ突然。でもそれでこそレナだぜ。
That's right. This is me, Rena. I'm not Reina. Reina still wants her parents' attention. Rena is a goofy and carefree girl. She knows that every day is full of happiness, and she has the kind heart to appreciate it, too. I should forget about icky things. I should live a wonderful life free of anything icky. Icky starts with I, and that's why I got rid of the I in Reina. I'm Rena. Oh, that's why? Huh. I'm going to recapture the happiness I lost when I left Hinamizawa. I will overcome any pain and hardship. I can be happy, because I got rid of icky things. I'm sure there are only incredible things waiting for me. Oh, incredible starts with I too. That's a very good point. She talks about how, you know, she thinks, oh, this letter is awful because this word is affiliated with this. But there's also something good affiliated with that letter, too. So it's like, a lot of times with the good will come bad, and a lot of times with the bad will come good. So you have to, like, you know, take a little bit of both in whatever circumstance you're in, really. Like, bad shit's gonna happen, but you have to try your best to make the good out of it. You know, and make your life as good as you can with what you have. Interesting. And she's, like, in this mindset that, like, nothing bad is allowed, everything has to be good and happy and nice, but then, you know, you take out the bad, and you can't feel the happiness anymore, you just become numb to it, you know? That's kind of why, like, dark and light, you know, kind of work together, because, you don't know what either one of them is without the other. So you have to have both, because balance. I was almost home, and when my house appeared, I noticed something different there. There was a truck parked in front of my house. There was nothing on the back of it, but I can tell it brought something here, because I saw some cardboard boxes, blankets, and ropes on the ground. From the front of the house, I heard the voices of 2 young men saying, "Well, we'll be going now." They passed me by as I walked towards the front door. They were wearing some kind of work uniforms. They looked like delivery people. My father was about to close the door when he noticed me.
Tadaima. 何かあったの?
おかえり、レイナ。見てごらん、すごいぞ。
And he still calls her Reina, too. My father looked to be in a good mood. I didn't know why he was, but whenever he smiled like that, I just wanted to smile back at him. His eyes used to look like those of a dead fish, no matter how hard I tried to smile at him. But these days, he could put on a big smile just to surprise me. He has been literally coming back to life since a year ago when we moved back to Hinamizawa. No, since he started dating Rina-san. When I see him smile like this, I'm happy, but at the same time I feel confused, because I don't know whether I should thank Rina-san or not.
ほら、すごいだろ。
He took me to the living room. He was probably expecting me to go all ooh and ah. So whenever there was something in the living room or not, I was ready to go ooh and ah for him.
何これ? どうしたの, お父さん?
I tried to sound excited and surprised. He was standing behind me, probably smiling with satisfaction at hearing my excited voice. I, on the other hand, was desperately trying to understand what was going on. For a moment I thought I was in someone else's house. You see, the living room had been completely redecorated. The furniture we had was all basically from the former house in Ibaraki. My parents bought most of the furniture when they got married, so it was all old and a little dirty. Some of them still had crayon scribbles I drew when I was very little, but all of that was gone. Everything in the living room had turned a pastel color, looking very sophisticated like the rooms you'd see in soap operas. The new carpet looked very tropical. The new curtains matched with the carpet. The new sofa looked very expensive. The living room in general looked like a resort hotel. The channel switcher of our old TV was broken, and we used to have to use pliers to change channels, but it was gone too, replaced by a new one with a big screen. The room's lights had also been replaced by nicer-looking ones. The living room looked like a totally different world under the new fluorescent lights.
すごいね、お父さん。これはどうしたの?
心機一転さ。もう引っ越してきて1年にもなるんだから、お父さんもそろそろ気分を切り替えて、新しい生活に踏み出さないとなって思ったんだよ。
But you're also kind of taking, you know, the personality out of it and the past, which there's a lot of bad, but there's some good in there too. I suggested redecorating the house once in order to cheer him up, because he was still in pain after the divorce, but he wasn't interested at the time. He didn't want to get rid of the old furniture he had chosen with my mother, because he still couldn't get over her, even though she cruelly broke up with him. I wanted to suggest it again when the time was right. I never thought he'd do it of his own initiative.
そうだね。こんな 綺麗なお部屋だと心も晴れ晴れするもんね。素敵なお部屋だと思うよ。
いいだろう。ほらレーナ、お前ユリースに憧れてたろ。まだ組み立ててないけど、ほらちゃんとあるんだぞ。はう、
お父さんすごいすごいすごい。これ私がもらってもいいのかな。
こらこら、それはみんなの共用のものだから。で
共用でもレナが占領しちゃうからダメ。
My father explained the details of his redecoration proudly. He told me that he only did the living room this time, but he's going to redecorate all of the rooms. He sure had become more active. There are some parts about the redecoration I didn't like, but I still thought it was great because it made him happy. I found the old furniture outside in the yard.
あれは捨てちゃうの？
まあこの際だと思ってな。後で業者が引き取りに来てくれることになってる。
Getting rid of the older furniture means putting an end to my mother. I hated the furniture because it smelled like my mother and I tried to break everything at once. I understand why my father wants to take this opportunity to get rid of them, but for some reason, this new living room makes me feel like I no longer belonged there. My father didn't choose the new furniture. Rina-san probably did. Most likely, my father and Rina-san decided to redecorate the living room and went to a furniture store to buy everything. I tried to think positively. The reason why my father didn't tell me about the redecoration was because he wanted to surprise me. No, my father never really considered things that deeply. So I suppose he didn't tell me because he just didn't think he needed to tell me. I'm sure he didn't redecorate the living room to make me feel like I was no longer welcome. Don't be negative, Rena. My father didn't have any bad intention. He doesn't want to get rid of me. He doesn't think I'm the reason he can't get remarried. And yet, why do I feel sad looking at all the old furniture in the yard? Why did I feel like I didn't belong? I realized the reason right away. The reason was me. To him, wanting to have a fresh start by getting rid of the things that remind him of my mother might be an indication of his unconscious desire to get rid of her daughter. My father doesn't really consider things deeply, so he might not be thinking that I'm the reason he can't get remarried. But he understands that he can't get remarried while we live together. By staying with him, I'm torturing my father. It was my fault that he had to get the divorce. That's why I have to support him, to help recapture his happiness. I couldn't just keep him all to myself. I'd have to start thinking about living on my own. I don't need to go to university. I should think about getting a job. But who would hire an uneducated girl like me? Even if somebody did hire me, I wouldn't be able to earn enough money to live on my own. Maybe I should think about working at a hostess club like Rina-san does. Don't do that. People only choose the jobs they can. A girl like me doesn't have a lot of choices. Not a lot of companies would hire me or pay the amount of money that I'd need to live on my own. But, come to think of it, where is the place where I belong? Whenever I ended up feeling like this, I miss my secret hideout in the trash piles. I love to get under the blanket and feel the warmth on a cold night. The hideout gets hot and humid during the day and very cold at night. It's not a very comfortable place to spend time in. But it might be the place where I can relax the most, more than I can at my house. No, I shouldn't think like this. I shouldn't think that my house has been invaded by Rina-san. I should thank her for making my father happy. Rina-san isn't trying to kick me out of the house. She's trying to get along with me, but I'm not opening my heart to her. I'm the bad one. I'm the bad one. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Satoshi-kun and his aunt didn't get along well at all. She abused him for so long. Compared to him, my situation is a lot easier. Satoko-chan and Rika-chan lost their parents, and they live together now. They've been through very hard times. On the other hand, I still live with my father. I should feel blessed. I shouldn't think I'm unhappy just because of these things. I am happy. I'm blessed. The trouble with me is that I still can't admit that I'm happy. Because you're struggling with depression. My father kept talking proudly about the redecoration. I nodded at him with a big smile and let him keep at it.
そうだ、いけない。レイナ、すまないんだがちょっとお使いを頼めないか？
お使い？うん、いいよ。
お父さんな、ジャケットを2着ほど洋服屋さんに取り寄せさせてるんだ。それがな、今日届くらしいんだ。ちょっとお父さんは回収業者さんを手伝わなきゃならないから、 レイナが代わりに取ってきてくれないか？
いいよ。お店を教えて。どんなジャケットを取り寄せたんだろう。楽しみ。
No matter what they look like, I'm sure Minasan picked them out for him. Although I don't mind going, I'd rather go to the store than listen to his stories about the redecoration of our living room. Change is hard. I got the receipt, asked him where the store is, changed my clothes, and left the house. I started pedaling my bicycle and looked at the old furniture in the yard for the last time. They used to be the object of my hatred, but for some reason they now made me feel sentimental. Is it because I still regret the loss of my mother, even though I hate her? I couldn't let poisonous emotions take over my heart. I understood that in my mind, but I just couldn't get rid of that feeling. The old furniture wasn't the only stuff that was kicked out of the house. There was also a lot of junk that I brought home from the landfill. My father was probably going to throw that away, too. He doesn't like the junk I collect. He'll probably let the delivery company take it all together with the old furniture. Just like an animal that rubs its scent on its home in order to feel secure. I collected all the junk in order to make sure that I could stay here. No, that's not it. I wanted to bring them to my house because they were abandoned by their former owners. They needed a place to live. So that's why she does it. She's feeling abandoned, like the trash is, like everything that's been thrown out. That's awful. The storeroom my father ordered the jackets from is a fancy boutique. It's hard to believe my father would shop at a store like this on his own. I could tell right away that Rina-san took him here. I handed over his receipt to the cashier. A short time later, the store manager came out wearing a perplexed look.
リュウグ様、大変申し訳ございません。実は入荷のトラックが高速で事故渋滞に巻き込まれているようでございまして、おそらくはもうじき到着すると思うのですが。
He said that the driver called a while ago, told him he just got off the highway and he would be here in about an hour. I didn't need to know all the details, but he explained them to me anyway. I asked him if I should come back tomorrow. He insisted that I should wait because the truck would be coming shortly, and he urged me to take a seat on their sofa. But I didn't really feel comfortable waiting there, so I told him I'd be back soon and left the store. I wondered if there were any fast food restaurants nearby. I might have to go all the way back to the station. I looked around and found a coffee house. The glass on the door was black, so I couldn't see inside. But there was a poster saying the price for a cup of coffee is lower than normal for women on weekdays. I'd just be going to get a cup of tea to kill some time, so it should be okay. But still, I hesitated to go inside before opening the door. Her first impression of the coffee house was the smell of cigarettes. Oh. Whose text is this? This is green. What? Are we changing perspectives again? It's normal for coffee houses to be filled with cigarette smoke. It's like a requirement, but Rena still regretted her decision. While she was thinking about leaving, the proprietor spoke to her briskly and showed her to a table. Oh, this is not a normal coffee house, is it? Rena gave up on the idea of leaving and sat down. The atmosphere in the shop was far from a clean, normal coffee house where you would go to simply enjoy coffee and cigarettes. It was more like a place where vulgar people would hang around. Rena didn't feel comfortable at all, but what bothered her the most was the laughter of a man and a woman singing together in the very back of the shop. Her table was behind a planter, so depending on how one looked at it, one could say she was in a spot most protected from their laughter. And Rena looked as though she wanted to leave as soon as she finished her tea. The bell hanging from the entrance door rang, letting her know a customer just came in. It was a little surprising for her that a coffee shop like this could draw in so many customers. Rena peeked at the newcomers from behind the planter. There were two of them. They looked like vulgar men, the kind of people you didn't want to get involved with the instant you saw them. The proprietor tried to show them a table, but they ignored him and walked towards the back. They walked up to the couple who had been laughing loudly and greeted them with a bow.
Oh.
It's Teppei Hojo.
やっと来よったんか。まあ座れや。
The couple stopped laughing, and the man told the newcomers to sit down in a threatening tone of voice. As instructed, the two of them took a seat.
どういうこったん？
すんまへん。なんとかその。
おたくはええねポケ。とっととうなるもんさらさんかい。
Two of them looked at each other before they each took an envelope out of their pockets and put it on the table. The man roughly grabbed the two envelopes and tore one of them open. Inside there were many wrinkled 10,000 yen bills bound into a bundle with a rubber band. He opened the other to make sure it also had cash in it, and then threw it to the woman.
おい、数えんね。
ちょっと私に命令しないでくれる？もともと私の金なんだから。
じゃがましい。黙って数えんなええんね。
The man yelled at the woman. She licked her thumb, looked annoyed, and started counting the cash expertly. The two newcomers hung their heads while she counted. That's Brenna, for sure. Lighting a cigarette, the man waited for her to finish counting.
はいよ、全部あるわよ。
The woman said that after flicking through the last bill. The newcomers looked relieved. The man, however, didn't look satisfied as he stared at the bundle of the bills the woman was holding.
いつこ、それいくらあった？
全部って言ったわよ。
全部っていくらかっちゅって聞いとんねん。
だから私が貸した金全部だって言ってるでしょ。
バカ。利子はついとるか聞いとるんねん。
Man and Ritsuko yelled at each other. Even though they were making all that noise, the other customers acted like they didn't hear
おい、兄
anything.
さん方、200万ビッタンこっきゃないんで。どういうこっちゃ？
The two of them were trying to find some excuses to make. It seemed like this behavior had touched the man's nerves, and he started looking more furious. Jesus Christ! His angry voice echoed through the shop. He hit the table hard and dropped a glass on the floor. The noise thickened the tension in the atmosphere. Yeah, this guy's not very nice.
すまんで済んだら警察はいらんちゅうねん。こちとら出るとこ出ても一個に構わんでんの。
それはどうかご勘弁ください。
So he's some sort of, like, gang leader. The two newcomers must have been in an extremely vulnerable position. They bowed so deeply that their foreheads almost touched the table.
それを勘弁したるって今日呼んだんねん。それがどういうけじめのつけ方な？あ？
すんまへん、エロすんまへん。
While you could pity them, the newcomers looked as vulgar as the man threatening them, making it hard to decide whether you should feel sorry for them or not. After a while, Ritsuko opened her mouth as if to offer them help.
てっちゃん、すごんじゃかわいそうでしょ。ごめんね、うちの人銭絡むとすぐとさかに来ちゃう人で。
銭絡むと余計だね。お前にあやつけよったんから本気になっとんよ、おら。
もうバカなこと言っても何にも出ないわよ。
The man pulled Ritsuko roughly into his arms and frantically kissed her lips without caring about the other customers. Their kiss wasn't like the lovely ones that normal couples would share. It looked obscene instead. He let her lips go to take a breath, kissed them again, and repeated that for a while. Wow, get a room, y'all. After a while, he finally got bored of kissing and let go.
私のことになるとすぐ頭に血が上っちゃうのよね。困ったもんなのよ。
ああ、そうよ。こいつと俺はいわば一心同体ね。この女に泥塗り腐るやつは俺に塗ったんと同じやんな。血祭りじゃすまんね
え。いつぞやかの、ほら、あいつ。あれ、表連れてってからどうしたんだったっけ？
あんバカが表へ出るとか抜かしょんからかかとくれてやったわ。野郎空手やるとか抜かしおるからどの程度か思うた。ちょっとしばいたら即土下座や。拍子抜けしたからズボン脱がせてそいつでこの表の歩道を磨かせてやったわ。
Ew.
おお、俺町の役に立っとんね。お役所に表彰してもらいたいんわ。
やだ、そんなことさせたの？あんたって時々容赦がないのよね。
They started laughing loudly, like they were doing earlier. What a bitch. Their laughter obviously intimidated their
ねえ、あんたた
companions.
ち。てっちゃん、今日はね、すっごく機嫌がいいの。普段だったら銭が足りんって騒ぎ出して、今頃あんたたちすっぱだかにされて玉子川に叩き込まれてるわよ。
すんまへん、すんまへん。
まあ、利子は忘れたちゅうたかて、
So I think I was wrong. Akihito is not this guy who is the uncle who's a bastard, but she is cheating on Rena's dad with him. So I was right about that part, but Akihito and him are not the same person. As far as I know.
そこいらへん評価したってもええんで。
それでね、てっちゃんの利子ちょいとあんまりだと思ったのよ。今日だから5本で済むけど、すぐに売買ゲームになっちゃうでしょ。そしたらあんたたちすぐに逆立ちしても払えなくなっちゃうわよ。でね、私あんたたちにいい話があんの。てっちゃん、悪いけどあんたちょっと席を外してちょうだい。
しょうがねえな。
The man left the table with a grin and headed for the bathroom. He was far too amenable to that request, as if they planned for him to leave the table at that moment. Mitsuko made sure he was in the bathroom, then took some papers out of her bag and spread them onto the table.
あんたたちも若いんだから、あんなヤクザに絡まれて一生を不意にしたくないでしょ。だからね、てっちゃんの利子は今日きっちり払っちゃいなさい。そうすればあんたたちはとりあえずあいつとは縁を切れるわけなんだから。
そりゃそうですけど、でも50万なんてこれ以上もう払えないっす。
まあそうよね。200万だって相当精一杯集めたんでしょ。さらに50万も工面できる当てなんてないでしょう。
They must have done their very best to collect even the money they brought today, so it must be impossible for them to collect even a dime from anybody now. They hung their heads and told her that.
でね、ほら、気を利かせて私が書いてきてあげたのよ。
Guys looked at the paper on the table and muttered under their breaths.
担保も連帯もいらないんで、ちょいと利率はあれだけど。
Oh boy, this is their scheme. This is their scheme. They're like, okay, I'll give you a little bit of money to pay back this debt, but you're gonna have to pay an interest fee that's like 10 times that.
これなら即50万積んでくれるわよ。それにさ、この利率でもてっちゃんの利率よりははるかにマシだと思うんだけど、どう思うかしら。
It would be easy for anyone to guess what Ritsuko was trying to force them to
これ
do.
にサインしたのを見せれば、彼も男気を感じて勘弁してくれると思うわね。どうする？あ、万年筆。使うなら置いとくわよ。
They read the small print on the documents and were stunned by the outrageous interest rate. Ritsuko didn't force them to do anything. She just looked out the window and smoked her cigarette. After a while, the man returned from the bathroom.
おう、話はついたが。
They looked at him, steeled themselves, and took the pen.
てっちゃんの利子、借金で一括返済するって。
おうおう、関心な若人だね。男は背負うもんがなくちゃあかんね。
They must have planned this from the very beginning. The man and Ritsuko got what they wanted and grinned at each other. What a bunch of jerks. There were many things to fill out on the documents, and it was taking them a long time. The man and Ritsuko, already knowing that, started talking amongst themselves.
いつこ、お前のひなみ沢の旦那の調子はどうなんね。
ん？旦那なんてよしてよね。
どうなんよ。だいぶ銭持っとんと聞かされてるん。どのぐらい絞れそうなんよ。
そうそう、それがさ、すっごいのよ。別れた奥さんがだいぶ慰謝料をくれたらしいってのは聞いてたのよ。でもね、それが本当にすっげえあるらしいのよね。
This bitch.
かなりってどのぐらいねん。
I knew she was bad news, but damn.
銀行に5000万くらい持ってるわよ。あぶく銭なわけだしね。も
うなんでそれ。で、どの辺まで行けそうなんね。
私にだいぶお熱みたいだからね。だって私が言えば何でも買うのよ。何でも。あんたみたいなドケチとは大違いよね。私も本気になっちゃおうかしら。
行かせボケ。俺以上の男が他にいるか。
で、そのひなみ沢の旦那にどう持ってくつもりなんよ。
あんたを出しに手切れ金がいるって方向で持ってくつもりなのよ。
なんぼふっかけるつもりね。
そりゃ
つっけづく恐ろしい女じゃんね。エキストラがいるときは呼んでな。俺も大暴れしちゃるんで。
すみません、書きました。
ああ、じゃそれ持ってドーン行こうか。律子、会計頼むね。
The man pat them on their shoulders and then walked to the door. Another person was just about to enter and they nearly ran into each other. The man probably wouldn't make for the person considering his personality. When he noticed who that person was, he stepped aside. It's Kasai. It's Kasai! I love Kasai. He's such a good dude. He's a Yakuza member, but he's a good dude. The person looked as vulgar as all the other men. He was wearing a black suit with sunglasses on. He wasn't that big, but he wasn't that big! Do ya see his shoulders? But his stern look was very intimidating. It was clear at a glance that he was a gangster, and a professional one at that. The man who was behaving badly earlier looked a little nervous in front of him. Ritsuko finished paying the check. She noticed the man in the suit.
あ、総支配人。どうも、おはようございます。
The man in the suit said nothing. He just raised his chin as if to say, "Fuck off." Ritsuko and the others bowed to him and left the shop in a hurry. The proprietor noticed the man in the suit, also greeting him with a bow. Who could he have been? He appeared sedate compared to the other men, but he must be dangerous because he made even them step aside. Everybody in the shop thought the same thing and tried not to look at him. The man in the suit looked around and found the menu on the wall. The proprietor walked up to him hesitantly.
Master.
はい。何か部長報がございましたでしょうか。
この日替わりデザートのスイートなんとかというのは今日はやっているのか。
いえ、本当は今日はやってないんですが、どうしてもとおっしゃるんでしたら特別にご用意を。
無理なら無理と言ってくれればいい。出直す。
He's actually a big sweetheart.
ほら、葛西、特別にご用意って言ってくれてるじゃないですか。ここまで来てみっともない。
The girl seemed to be the only one who couldn't read the heavy atmosphere in the shop, but she came in laughing cheerfully. It was Mion Sonozaki's twin sister, Shion. Shion pushed Kase into the store while he hesitated. She looked at a girl who was sitting down and stopped her tracks.
あれ？やっぱりそうだ。ハロロー。レナさんじゃないですか。こんにちは。
あ、しーちゃん？
こんなとこで会うなんてびっくりです。
She just wanted a tea, man.
あれ？お一人？ひょっとして誰かと待ち合わせ？お姉かな？いやいや、ひょっとしてケイちゃんか
な？しーちゃん、その連れの人は？ん？
葛西のこと？まあ、私のボディーガードとか思っといてください。命の危険が迫ったら、葛西が守ってくれるんだよね。
No, go drink your tea! Oh, you let it steep for too long?
それがお望みでしたら、命に変えてでも。
うわー、葛西、あと20も若かったらやばいかもだね。顔は怖いけど面白いやつです。こちらはね、竜宮レナさん。お姉のお友達。
葛西です。
Fair, fair.
よろしく。
葛西さん、さっきすれ違った人たちは知り合いですか？
Kasai nodded, indicating that he was familiar with them.
誰？私は全然あんなの見たことないけど。
A bunch of assholes, that's who they were.
男は北条哲平。
What a jerk.
ちょいと礼儀知らずの
A skunk of a human being. Agreed, agreed. Shion seemed to know who he was once she heard the name Hojo.
女の人の方は？
間宮里奈。源氏名だと思いました。確か律子って名前だったかと。 フラワーロードの店の一つで働いている従業員です。
Poor Rena's heart is gonna be crushed about
リナ
this.
さんとその北条さんはどういう人たちなんですか？とても仲が良さそうに見えました。
北条は確かリナとは深い仲かと。たちの悪い連中ですので関わり合いになられない方がいいと思います。
RIP!
どうたちが悪いんですか？
Rena pressed him for the answer, and Kase seemed to back down a little from that pressure.
女の私生活には触れないのが仁義ってもんです。
どうたちが悪いんですか？
それはご勘弁を。
どうたちが悪いんですか？
Rena kept asking the same question until she got an answer. Shion sensed how desperate Rena was and cut into the conversation.
葛西、意地悪しないで教えてあげなさいよ。興味本位で聞いてるわけじゃなさそうだしさ。ね、レナさん。
There was tension developing between Rena and Kase. Shion seemed to be the only one who couldn't read the mood. Kase finally opened his mouth.
あの二人はたちの悪いろくでなしどもです。
Agreed.
恐喝と博打で生計を立ててると聞いています。詐欺行為もやるって話で。
詐欺ってどんな？
あいつらの詐欺ってのは、まあ何？結婚詐欺ってやつですか？要するに男の人に言い寄っていい感じになったところで相棒の男が乱入して俺の女に何しやがるって金を巻き上げる古典的恐喝です。
What? This guy for stealing his girlfriend and blackmails him for money. How awful is
散々
that?
貢がされた挙句根こそぎ巻き上げようっていうクズどもです。最近でかい相手を引っ掛けたらしいと噂になっています。
じゃあそりゃあどちら様か存じないけど気の毒なことね。
Oh, and it's her dad.
でもまあ鼻の下を伸ばした代償なわけだし自業自得。
You bitch. Don't you dare say that.
そんな言い方はないもんです。男は時にコロッと女に騙されちまうもんですよ。
ほう、何それ。葛西をコロッと騙した女って誰？マスター、デザートは私と葛西とあとレナさんでって。あれ？
今お帰りになりましたよ。
Rena was already gone. The door, which had just closed, looked as if it was the only thing that knew where she went. Oh, she's about to go hurt a bitch. Oh my god, wow. Oh, I would be so pissed if I was her. When I got home, the door was locked. I used my key to get in and I found a note in the living room. Something's come up, so I have to go. I'm going to eat out tonight, is what the note said. This wasn't the first time he'd done something like this. Each time he told me he had to go to Okinomiya for something. But I knew the real reason, because I heard him talking on the phone once. Rina-san must have had some free time between jobs and asked him out to have dinner together. I heaved a sigh, looking at the new living room I hated, and went to my room. I thought back over what I just heard at the coffee house. Goodness. I tried to rationalize the meaning of her actions there. Maybe she had to pretend to be a bad person because she was being threatened by the man. But even if the man she called Taechan left the table, she continued to threaten the guys and push them into signing the loan contract immediately. Even if she was threatened to play along with the man, she wouldn't have done that. If she was pretending to be a bad person, she could have shown a little bit of mercy or sympathy when he left her alone with them. It's like holding water in a bowl you made with your hands. No matter how sturdy you made the bowl, water would leak from your fingers. Mercy and sympathy leak out from you. But nothing, not even a drop of water, leaked from Rina-san's. Her hands weren't even moist, they were all dried up. There was no water that could leak through those hands. Rina-san was threatening these guys as much as the man was. Neither was leading the other along. They were doing it together. That was it. Rina-san is a bad person. My brain cells accepted the idea with applause. After all, I always hated Rina-san. I just couldn't accept the feeling because my father liked her. But at that moment I could finally accept it. She's a bad person, just like my mother. She's an existence that will ruin everything and destroy my father's happiness just by being with him. But I wonder if my father would understand that Rina-san is a bad person if I told him so. My father likes her so much that he would jump over a cliff if she asked him to. He thinks everything she does or says is great, and he interprets everything about her in a positive way. He protects her and praises her without her asking him to. I'm not a kid anymore. I understand how a woman can tame a man. It's different from love. Love is about trying to build a relationship. Taming is just a way of satisfying the lust to dominate. She's just trying to make him into her slave. Women can deceive men, even my father. They can use dirty methods to ensnare men like they're following a manual. It's the weak point all men are born with. Even with a strong will, they can't resist it. That's why we hate those women who exploit the weak point to deceive men. That's why I couldn't bring myself to like Rina-san. For the sake of argument, let's assume I acknowledged an unreciprocated love like that. But that would only be as long as it was love. If it wasn't love, it was just a method to threaten and squeeze money out of him. I would never forgive her. I remember their conversation at the coffee house. Rina-san said that my father is a big spender. In fact, I think he spends more money without hesitation than before he met Rina-san. I was happy that he started to regain an interest in going out into the world again, but now I don't know whether I should be happy or not. He controls the money of the Ryugu family overall, but since I do the grocery shopping, he often gives me his bank book so that I can withdraw money. Because of that, I know where he keeps his bank book, his personal seal, and other important stuff. They're in one of his drawers, which he usually locks. I know where he hides the key. Oh my goodness, I'm getting tired. And I know the combination of the cash box inside the drawer. He might be coming back soon, so I felt a little nervous, but I had to make sure. I opened the cash box, which had some bank books, personal seal stamps, and unused postcards. I removed everything from the cash box to get all the bank books, and I found something new. On the bottom of the box, there was a bundle of new 10,000 yen bills. Its thickness wasn't something I could ignore. There was also a paper wrapper that looked like it had been bundling the bills. The wrapper had a stamp that said it was a bundle of 1,000,000 yen. He usually kept some cash at home because it was troublesome to go to the bank every time I needed money. But it was usually around 100,000 to 2,000 yen at most. He never kept such a big amount of money at home before because he knows it's unsafe. The extraordinary amount of 10,000 yen bills was abnormally intimidating. I tried to open the bank book, but my fingers got numb all of a sudden. A part of me was trying to deny the things I heard at the coffee house. Because I wanted to defend my father, or even Rina-san. It was because I didn't want to believe my father was the husband in Hinamizawa the blackmailers were talking about. I opened the bank book. The last time I saw it was about 2 or 3 months ago. It shows countless withdrawals since that day. I probably wouldn't normally understand what those numbers meant, but I felt in that moment as if 10 different digits were speaking to me. There were a series of cruel digits. It starts with some understandable expenses that I assume represent dinners or something. But then the amount of money starts to become nice round numbers like a 5 or a 10. I can tell by looking at the dates he withdrew money that he wanted to have a certain amount of cash on hand when he went out with Rina-san. Among those expenses, a big number appeared all of a sudden. It was too much to spend on a date, hundreds of thousands of yen. I looked at the date of the withdrawal and I traced it back in my memory. I remembered. Around that time, Rina-san was talking about moving into a new apartment. I know the market rate of rental apartments in Okinomiya. You need to put down the 2 safety deposits and 2 payments of key money in order to rent an apartment. That amount of withdrawal sounded reasonable now. He paid the whole down payment for her new apartment. Jesus Christ! After that, big numbers appeared one after the other. I could tell they were for congratulatory gifts for her new apartment or something. The numbers got bigger and bigger. Looked like at first he was withdrawing all the amount of money needed, but then he started withdrawing big amounts all at once because he knew he was going to use it someday anyway. That change meant only one thing. He lost his sense of the value of money. The balance kept going down. I started feeling anxious about what's going to happen if he continued spending money like that. But then I saw a deposit of a big amount of money into the account. Where did that money come from? There was only one thing I could think of. I opened the other bank book. It was easy, like a puzzle for kids. It was like playing with an easy jigsaw puzzle that comes with huge pieces, like you don't even have to put together to see what the whole picture looks like. My father was using money from his time deposits. In other words, the settlement my mother paid my father when she divorced him. To him, it's cursed money. I'd understand if he wanted to use it to get a new love. But that was just an excuse to use the money from his time deposits. Money is money. Even though it's his divorce alimony, it's still important money for our future. Even though it's cursed money to him, that doesn't mean he can waste it. Big expenses start appearing one after the other. There are many expenses, upward to 6 digits. For some reason, I could immediately tell they were for buying electric appliances and furniture. He must have been buying everything she asked him to. If from the beginning Rin-san was only seeing to check if he could end up being a big catch, she must have been trying to figure out how much money she could squeeze out of him. And my father bought her everything and anything she wanted, no matter how expensive it was, so she probably thinks of him as the perfect catch now. The numbers in the bank book told me so. The simple numbers and dates in the bank book had started talking to me. Around the time he started withdrawing big amounts of money, Rin-san started coming to the house more often. She also started spending the night. To Rin-san, my father was at first just a guy who spends big money, but around the time she landed her big catch, my father used to refer to her as my friend in Okinomiya at first, but he started referring to her as Rin-san around that time. This is partially his fault, but he was betrayed by his beloved wife, and he was feeling hurt and down for a long time. It's also partially my fault. That's why I didn't want to blame him. And he's not that good looking either. There's no way he's immune to women. He must have not been able to resist an attractive lady who aggressively approached him when he was feeling down. He's crazy about Rin-san, and he could see nothing other than her. I can't blame him because Rin-san trained him to be that way. Damn. I put the bank books and the other things back into the cash box. The cash box is just like my father's heart. Rin-san is eating up the contents. What should I do? Think, Rena Ryugu. Should I tell him about Rin-san's scheme? No, that probably wouldn't do anything. The whole point of taming an animal is that it won't run away from its owner even when the door is wide open. My father probably won't leave his cage even if I open the door. Should I confront Rin-san about her plot when he's with her? The results would be the same. Rin-san would run behind his back. He'd probably try to protect her. She pressed her breasts against his back. He'd protect her no matter what. I couldn't make this a problem between me and him. First of all, I was trying to get rid of Rin-san for his sake. If we got mad at each other, it would give the advantage to Rin-san. It would be like I was putting myself into her trap. Then that meant I couldn't make him do anything. Oh, she's gonna try to murder this bitch. I can already see it now. If I couldn't make him break up with Rin-san, I'd have to talk to Rin-san directly. So instead of making my father fight, I'd have to fight in his place. But how? That guy Kasei-san who was with Shi-chan today seemed to know the man Rin-san was with. I wonder if I can somehow meet him again. He looks scary, but I was introduced to him as a friend of Mi-chan. Mi-chan has a lot of power around here. There's no way he would treat me badly. I wonder if he could tell Rin-san about the man to back off from my father. That'd help me a lot. But I didn't know how I could meet him again. I could ask Mi-chan for help, but I don't want her to know about my situation. This is a problem of the Ryugu family. It's nobody's business but mine. Yes, this is a battle that I'd have to fight alone. I regretted my parents' divorce. I wept about the tragedy I could have prevented if I had tried. I wasn't going to weep this time. I wasn't going to let the chance slip away. This time, I would fight for my happiness. Damn! She gonna murder this bitch! Oh, she deserves it too. Whew! That got intense really fast. Like the first chapter or so, and the other like volumes or chapters, it was like it would take a few chapters and then it would like of them just being like high school kids, you know, just hanging out and having fun all day. But then it would get into the dark stuff really slowly, and now it's just like, oh, she gonna murder this bitch. Like, damn. It's getting intense really quickly. Properly estimate. Dear Ritsuko Mamiya-san, Executive Housing Corporation. Attached estimate. We thank you for your past visits and inquiries to our office. We've included the estimate for the property you inquired about. Basic information. Property name Palace of Versailles, room 707. Property code 14M1421. Property type modern condominium. Oh, it's a condo. Condos are not very cheap. 2 LDK. Address Shishibon City, Koiwa-cho, 2 Chrome. Transportation, blah, 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 line, Gogoro Station, 5 minutes on foot. Cost 49,800,000 yen. Jesus Christ. Maintenance fee 20,000 yen. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You got the point. Southeast corner room, elevator floor. Condominium fitness club membership included. Thank you for your interest in this property. The area around Gogoro Station is a prime real estate zone for luxury condominiums. Along with future planned developments, the real estate values in and around the Gogoro Station are expected to rise, and this property is not an exception. As a result, many prospective buyers are interested in this property. Hence, we'd like for you to understand that selection process for this property will be done via lottery. Also, we offer celebrity member preferential treatment, granting highly improved chances through additional lottery entries. Please feel free to inquire with our agents for more details. Executive Housing Corporation, Celebratory Account Manager, Kawabata. That sounds really sus. That sounds really sus. Alright, whew. That was a lot to take in one day. Holy crap. Whew. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Is that Italian? I thought it was French. I don't know anything. I'm a dumbass bitch. I'm also really tired, so my brain is not functioning at my right capacity. So much just happened. It's French-Italian. Okay, fair enough, yes. I'm sorry. I'm very tired, and also, it's just a thing of mine. I mispronounce words a lot. I know how to spell correctly most of the time. Like, 99% of the time, I can spell correctly. But when it comes to pronouncing words, I have trouble with it. I don't know why. It's just a lot of words get jumbled in my head. Jaju, no! No, Jaju! Ah! Hi, Jaju. I was actually about to quit because I'm really tired. But thank you for rating, Jaju. Yes, it was ending. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to work in the morning, so I have to go to bed. Yep, stream an F in the chat. Everybody put an F in the chat, please. Let me find someone to raid here for you guys. I'm sorry. Witchy T's playing Frambeau again. Oh, Pandora! Pandora's playing Beat Saber. That'll be nice. Let's do that. Alright, we're gonna raid Pandora's hat, who's playing Beat Saber, which seems fitting. I love Pandora. He's such a good dude. He's one of my best friends. Yes, we're gonna be doing a journey raid, so everybody copy the raid message and tell Pandora I sent you. Great friend of mine. Love him to death. He'll never say love you back, but he'll always support me anyways. Because that's just what kind of friend he is. But thanks everybody for coming to stream. I'm sorry you got the tail end, Jaju, but I really have to go to bed. I already, like, stayed up too late already. I really gotta go sleep. Gosh, yeah, I have to get up at 6 a.m. in the freaking morning. It sucks, man. Feels bad. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming to stream. I will be streaming this again next week, hopefully. And, I will be streaming again Friday night with more FNAF with Melisma. So stick around, and I hope to see you then. So thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye!